Are we on?
We're on the internet. Yeah,
welcome to the interwebs.
Are we on?
So welcome in to Ramshackle production of Baleful Hell. We are currently on the island of Chult to catch you up from our last episode. Somebody's hungry. To catch you guys up on where the adventurer party came from. They raided the Sunless Citadel, committed acts of genocide against both kobold and goblin
Get over it.
little communities. And,
why are you bringing up old stuff?
Yeah, come on, man. So they went through, had a very successful first adventure, started bringing capital in so that Bronson and Valker would be able to continue their quest and their investigation, super sleuth style, with curled mustaches, looking for the Seven Sons Trading Company. And the Seven Sons Trading Company is somehow affiliated with Ball Trading Company, that was the birthright of Bronson. We know that it has been taken away from him. We don't have all the details as to what has caused that. Something likely will be opened up and looked into in time. They have been working with the Jade Syndicate, we found, in Waterdeep shortly before the characters departed. And for an organized crime entity from the East to so blatantly publish their names on these bills of lading, they are not exactly worried on being discovered. So the characters found that odd. Glasmaline said that she wanted to go ahead and complete a journey that had come from her movement through the Underdark out west into Faerun. She encountered Zira Feywind, who just seemed to be a very mild-mannered woman, a very nice lady to her, and ended up through interactions getting a fresh coat. And this was a cloak of billowing that she can pump her shoulders and get it to dramatically billow and with or without the presence of wind. And in return, she was to craft a very fine-looking lute. So she took 2 blocks of wood, crafted a shittier one that she gave to Falker, and then the really fine one, after she had learned her way through it, she ends up presenting this. As they make their way down from Waterdeep down to go and meet Zira, they were waylaid by a group of assassins and ended up getting into quite a large scuffle. The party was interested to find that the bald, red-garbed assassin with the long glaive was surprised to see Jotun out of everybody there, and specifically called him out by name, saying that you don't think you can get off killing our Zolkir and not have your life for forfeit. This is something that nobody's really asked him about since hearing.
That's not true. We asked about it immediately.
You guys didn't go into. You said, "Hey, do you know these individuals?"
Okay,
and
that's
you guys went
interesting.
in. I would recommend you guys go for further conversation.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, but we didn't go into detail because right at the end.
Well, we asked for what exactly the assassin said when he confronted us. I don't remember the Zoltier part. Anyways.
Yeah, so the Zolkir was what the verbiage was
Okay.
that he had said out towards Jotun. They were after Glasmaline from the get-go, wanting to question her
Oh, yeah, we had
and
those
her
lists.
relationship. The list should be up there in front of Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And so they wanted to question her and her involvement with Zira. And the aliases that were listed on the piece of paper had some pretty grand titles. And they found out very soon that it was actually the names of dragons. And Zira teleported them through scrolling runes on the ground. There were runes. Made a teleportation circle that they took to wherever her treasure trove is, up in some kind of a mountain. Oh, hey.
Power lines.
Yeah, there's some power down there. And so they go through a long little conversation to be able to see that Zira has been stricken ill. And Ruto, the puny, a brass dragon, came flying in and was immediately on guard seeing individuals. There's a lot of hatred towards Dragonkin following the rise of Tiamat and the Dragon Cult's quick demise through a group of adventurers. They ended up transporting down to Cholt into the primary port city, and again, just to recap what they saw there, they appeared in a tropical city. You're under a blazing sun. You hear familiar sounds of a harbor, things like creaking ropes, slapping waves, barrels rolling across cobblestones. It sounds much like Waterdeep, but there's an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words.
Clicks.
It's almost musical. There's an aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit that makes the sweetness offset the normal smells of a wharf of different types of fish, tackle, that you would have for the fishing trade, and you smell a lot of tar as they are doing boat repairs in the area. Beyond all of that, the port is just this explosion of color. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange. There's some pinks that are out there. The walls are all adorned with murals of giant reptiles and what looks to be mythical heroes. You saw the statue in the center of this part of the harbor, and it's not like any type of armor or weapon that you've ever seen before.
It's like a spear, sword, and a shield held skyward, right?
Yeah. And so, there's a lot of tarps and pennants that you see waving in the gentle sea breeze, and these are made of different types of canvas and silks. Again, all very tropical in color and look. As you guys landed and came about here, you had seen that there was a gold dragonborn that seemed to be running the port office and was giving out quite a bit of very rapid commands, and it seemed like everybody was obeying him. So the bigotry towards dragonkind doesn't seem to have made the trip down here yet. So that's you guys end up going to Wakanga Otamu's house. He's one of the 7 merchant princes of the port. He's very sympathetic to the Harpers organization across Forgotten Realms. And as soon as you came up, he saw the shape that Zira Faywin was in, and immediately came and had his servants escort her body in. You guys were just walking into his abode whenever we ended the night, the last episode. Any questions coming into this?
Who is this guy?
I thought we had settled down and we were gonna rest. It's the last
At his place.
we were resting, so it's.
So 2 things I'd like clarity on. One, when we got here, we were teleported here with her. She's like weakened and
Yes.
dying for all intents and purposes. Ruto's with us. We all teleported together. Wakanga
Ruto did not come with you.
He didn't come with us.
No.
Oh.
He, whenever him and Zero were having a conversation back in the loot cave.
He stayed.
And no, he did come.
He was with us.
That's right, because he was the one that ran off to go and. That's right. Yeah, as always.
So how did Wakanga find us? Like,
so you guys,
we start walking.
Ruto led you through town.
Yeah.
To where Wakanga's compound is.
Right.
And this
so Ruto
is.
knows him.
Yes.
Okay.
And we took her there.
Yeah, you guys took her there.
I was just unclear on like how we got to his house.
Yeah.
Like I know we met him. He introduced himself and said, like I'm friends with the lady, and then like we were like, well, let's help her. Let's get her safe.
And he just came up to you and was like, "Look at me, look at me.
Is that how that went?
I am the captain."
I am the captain.
Whoa. And then he gave us the quest to kill the Tropo or whatever.
She did in the
that's
treasure
right.
cave.
That's right, yeah.
So she has said that there was
There's
a
a-
tropal.
There's a
Deep-
big, heavy.
Did you get a quest card for that?
No.
No, the god.
It's gonna be like long. That's the main.
the
big,
god fetus.
Yeah. There's a god fetus.
It's evil though.
Yeah. So did she tell us
It's
why
a sin.
we came here?
I read about
So
Before taking us here.
yes.
it. It's evil.
I apologize for not retaining that, but
You're
that's,
fine.
Yeah.
So what had happened is she said that the Moru, which was the boat that you were in charge of going
did that
to
come
rob.
from here?
It did not come from this island,
Okay.
but you guys sunk it in between this kind of continent and Faerun. Whenever you guys boarded the Moru, and then it lit on fire and sunk. You were on the in between these 2 continents.
Oh, so it wasn't very close to like the Sword Coast. When I say
Well, no,
that
it's the
was.
south of the Sword Coast.
Oh,
so
okay.
if we go to, let's see if I've got a better map.
I see. I just didn't realize.
Oh no! Don't wreck the map.
So, are you having us go back to when we say we're going to rest, or is it the next morning, the 6th of the month now?
Well, we can do if you guys want. any conversation or anything the night prior, we can just fast forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna. Glasman would be annoyingly pestering of Wakanda, of the culture, things he knows, tell me about the town,
We were way up
etc.
here in
Also very annoying
Baldur's
of,
Gate and shit. Now we're down here.
she'll try to annoy, not be annoying, but she'll be questioning Zira
She
about
opened up a
her
portal
shape-changing ability.
twice.
Is it something arcane? Is it something
So
dragon?
Zira would not talk because she would be unconscious.
Oh, the whole time. Okay.
You know, the
So she'll
whole
talk
time.
to the puny.
Okay, Ruto. So yeah, this is just for everybody's edification. That's where the Moru is sunk.
Where's the Sword Coast?
This is the
Way
Sea of
up there,
Swords, and so this is the Sword Coast that goes along this.
I see. I didn't realize how far away that happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you guys would have taken a boat out and then
Yeah.
put barges out with chain in between it. So then, as the Moru came through, it would have caught the chain on the keel,
Mhm.
and then it pulls all of you guys on these little flat barges that wouldn't have been seen at night.
Right.
Pulls you guys all up, and then you climb up to go and do all your thieving. Something
Not
caught
me, but whoever
Well, you.
did such things.
Yeah, you.
No.
And
Absolutely
so
not.
as the thieving was taking place, something happened beneath
Yeah.
decks, and then
Got it.
the whole thing sunk rather rapidly,
Mhm.
and you were washed ashore in the south.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So, in terms of why the Lady Vera brought us to Chult, was she like explicit in why?
So Zira said that whatever happened there, they think that the bounty was actually collected,
Okay.
and they've taken it to study and or use whoever they is in Chult.
Okay.
And very likely
She just
something
didn't tell us.
this widespread
Uh-huh.
most likely is an atropal. And
Got
you
it.
guys were like, what the fuck's an
And
atropal?
she gave us the break.
And it is an aborted god fetus
Yep.
that before the god could be born,
Yeah.
this came out, and some of them were stranded in the astral sea.
Yep.
And if you can find one, it can start imbuing powers.
Yeah.
And so likely there is something. You don't know what the effects are that are causing the sickness or what the sickness is,
Right.
but there seems to be through Daggerford, through Waterdeep, down through Baldur's Gate. You wouldn't take Waterdeep out of that because it happened the night after the assassination attempt.
Right.
So Daggerford and Baldur's Gate, you saw all those people that are just any kind of treasure because the people are literally wasting away.
Okay. And so. Alright, I guess that about sums it up. Alright.
Sounds like
Yep.
Long rest.
So, you guys all are escorted to your own individual rooms.
Yes.
You are laying in probably, for some of you, the most comfortable mattress you've ever laid on in your life. It's almost as if they filled the sacks full of dreams, and that's what you're laying on. It's that comfy. Silk sheets caress your ample forms.
Does each side of the mattress have like a different number of hay or down particles in it, so that I can rest one way and the person sleeping with me could rest another way?
Nobody would ever want to sleep with you. You're very off-putting.
Fair.
No, it's actually a kind of a squishy fungus material that you push down in and it gives, and whenever you take your hand away, it slowly returns
Oh,
to
it's
its
Chult
original
memory
shape.
foam.
Yeah.
It's a Tempur-Pedic, yeah.
So as we
Chultopedic.
as we go to bed from the other rooms, they can hear this.
What was that?
That's beautiful.
Somebody's playing music in the other room. Oi, somebody's playing music in the other room.
I'm pretty sure it's Valka.
Dick.
Playing the flute.
Must be an original tune, that one.
It is.
I think it's a beautiful song. All right, Valka.
And you
Just
all
enough.
feel inspired from the music.
Oh, this is true.
Is that real? That's great.
Advantageous rolls.
Yeah.
We'll take him.
Fantastic. Dave.
Please pass these down.
You're not there. You don't get one.
Am I in the?
Or do you get
Am
one?
I in the inn?
I don't know.
Is he in where I am?
Is
Are
he in
we
the
the
house
only-
with us?
Lord Wakanga, are we the only guests staying in your compound?
No, I have my entire retinue of individuals who are in my employ. We have many of those who will guard and keep my interests at heart.
So are we in morning time? We're out.
You are not the only fighters within this house.
Is Ruto with us?
He hasn't left Zera's side.
Okay. All right. So we need to go talk. We need to go talk to Ruto and figure out what we're going to do here.
Oh, let's go visit with him.
So
We'll go over to her room.
Conga, Ruto's room is just where?
Then he points, please help yourself to some food to break your fasts.
Bronson's already got 2 drinks.
With umbrellas.
That's right. He puts one in his arm and then grabs it.
I was told it's all inclusive.
Continental breakfast, big lad. And he grabs a whole bundle of bananas.
Go like a room 203. Put it on my tab.
Like 203, right? He puts another one. Like,
And that's actually his room.
yeah.
So you guys walk down the hallway. You're seeing a lot of marble, not in huge slabs that make up the floor, but smaller tiles. The veins in the marble, it's a white marble with some pink to the veins that go through it, and it's cool on your feet. You see open fountains along the hallways, almost like a trough, and it serves as a really nice air conditioner. As you know, it keeps the humidity up, and the air as it blows through the house. It's a very, very comfortable temperature, which is in
Beautiful.
stark contrast to what it was like whenever you guys were just stifling whenever you first landed. You walk down the hallway. There's torch sconces that line every so often, so there's an abundance of light. You go down the hallway, and it seems like there's 3 bedrooms. One is clearly where the hallway terminates, and it is a very grand door that looks to be locked and secured with a single guard standing in front of it. Then off to the left, the door is open, and you can see that Bruto is laying next to the bed, like on the ground. He's got a pillow behind his head, and in the bed is Zera. She looks to be unconscious.
Ruto, good morning.
Morning.
I'm gonna hand him a couple bananas.
Thank you.
We kind of showed up
Cracks him
there
up and starts eating.
unexpectedly, and it feels like Zera has ambitions for us to do something, but I don't.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know where to start.
You're gonna have to probably head down into the jungle. She said, someplace deep in the dark heart, somewhere near the center, is likely where they would have gone. Nobody really ventures to the interior of Cholt much.
So the dark heart, is that the descriptor or a specific place?
Well, there's a lost city down there, and depending upon what era that you've been around and what you've studied, you'll know that there's a city called Omu, O-M-U.
Thanks for the spelling on that.
Oh, you're welcome. And it's down there, pretty secluded. We're not sure where it's at, but somewhere in the core. They call it the Lost City. Some people call it the Heart of Darkness or the Dark Heart.
Is there any way we might find our way to this lost city?
Oi, time out. Why would we start our goddamn search in the heart of darkness? This sounds like now we're heading toward apocalypse.
You're right. We need to find the fetus god baby demon in the heart of darkness.
Oi, the shit cunt. We talked all about it.
Yeah.
What makes you think it's there, Road? Little guy?
What's his name again?
I have neighbors.
Ruto.
I mean, there's an old tale about the night serpent that ate the sun in the creation narrative for Faerun. They think that the night serpent was sealed here underneath the ground, and there's wards that have been placed over it. And so there's gods down here that are ancient, and they helped guard to make sure that the night serpent never is released.
Right.
Ao saw fit to keep these gods down here during the first sundering, and didn't mess with them the way he did the gods that we're used to up north.
Right, everybody knows that. Right.
Yeah, you went to church.
Who placed these wards? Would it be the Wizards of Thay?
Oh no, this is long before the Red Wizards. There's a mountain range, the Sky Lizard Mountains, that are on the southeast side. Then you have the Cobalt Mountains along the western spine of Chult, and to the south are the Peaks of Flame. Somewhere down in between those, there's a valley, and that's where we know. Most likely where it's at.
So
Respectfully, lad, you told us about the serpent and the terrifying ties to the origination narrative. But what makes us think that the demon baby god fetus cunt fuck thing's there?
Well, there's great power if the night serpent is kept under there. Likely they're either going to try to siphon it, or they're doing something with the night serpent down there.
Yeah, you've heard the old saying, with great power comes the heart of darkness.
Oi, and with...
Yeah, I think there might be some caves down there.
So, just to be clear, the place, the heart of darkness we need to go to, seems to be at the center of 3 different mountain ranges.
Well, that's just kind of the geography down there. I don't know if it's directly equidistant, and since they're mountain ranges, where would you exactly have?
So do you know if there's a guide
origination
for us in
triangulate?
town, Ruto?
What?
Is there a guide maybe we can find?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of guides. You can go through the board that we saw over by the port masters. There's a collection of guides on paper up there. You guys could go down to a tavern and try to get guides through there.
Are there any guides you would recommend?
Well, I mean, you could talk to Wakanga, and he could give you a few. I really, it's been several generations since I've been down here. I don't like to go places really by myself.
What a fucking dragon. What are you scared of?
I'm not exactly the biggest of the dragons. There's ones that are a lot bigger than me.
Right, but
It is an
the small,
unfortunate nickname.
Yeah,
it is.
I
But
mean,
the small dragon is still a pretty big fucking.
and then Bronson slowly works up behind him. And he's like trying to lift the kid. He's can't move him at all.
So
You're like, dude.
we'll go talk to Wakanda then and see if he has a guide we can recommend. You mentioned yesterday the Thundering Lizard and the Heinous House. Would those be taverns we could maybe visit as well for?
yeah,
assistance?
it's really up to what you guys, how seedy of a place you'd want to go to.
I don't care for seed.
Okay. Don't eat
I'm alright with it.
watermelon.
I brought my dice. I'll go see what I can see about.
Okay.
So let's go talk to Wakanda then.
Oi,
Alright, so we're gonna make our way to Wakanda and
Bronson will thank him. Thank you, kind sir, for your hospitality and the ample amount of delicious exotic fruits you've afforded us. And I have no doubt that I will be spending some time in your lavishly acquainted toilets shortly thereafter. I've had a bit of your passion fruit juice and 47 bananas.
Something interesting, we call it the floating stool that you get whenever you eat mini bananas.
Bronson's tummy like audibly rumbles. You go, man, those animals they got out there or something.
Must be a dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly.
Many of our large lizards also have a predilection for enjoying the bananas. Make sure you are never standing behind one of them whenever they choose to evacuate.
So
What
it's all
right?
like standing behind Valkyr when he eats anything.
We call it a Chilton mudslide.
That's terrible.
Coincidentally, you can order one down at one of the bars.
Oh, with ice cream and chocolate.
Yes.
Wakanda, we're needing to go to the Heart of Darkness and well, we don't know where that is. So, do you have a guide who can lead us to our probably our eventual demise?
I do not have a guide to lend you, but I do have a gentleman in my service.
I was hoping you could introduce us to a character that could help us get into the jungle safely.
He is quite witty,
A
so
player, if you will.
I have heard him being referred to as a character. You will find him just to the outside of town where the dinosaur races are taking place. He will be riding one for my house.
Boy, that's awesome. Cool.
Pachwa Kochenik. That is the name that he answers to.
One more time?
What was his name?
Pachwa Kochenik.
Pachua.
And this Bachua, does he know of magic?
There are some who hear him whisper in forked tongues at night, but magical or not, he is quite adept. He is a good fighter.
I've done my fair share of night tongue forking, if you know what I mean.
Really wish I had another inspiration.
I'll take another, that's fine.
And then he looks over at Jotun and says, flips you the ring, and says, I spent my morning hours poring over some of the books in my library. This appears to be of a lower order of the Red Wizards of Thay. Would you be counting yourself amongst them? I would not normally rescind my invitation of hospitality, but they are no friends of mine.
I will say that I did study at the College of the Red Wizards, but I was at a higher rank than these particular assassins. And for the rest of the group, we had noticed that this assassin was coming after Glaz initially. But the way that I ended up on this plane was that I was actually training with this Zolkia, who is a high-ranking wizard at the College of Thay. And that is when the sundering happened, and suddenly I just popped out of the plane. So the Red Wizards must think that I somehow dispatched the Zolkia, but I do not know of his demise. So it seems that the Red Wizards will be after me as well as Glaz, so perhaps we should keep our heads down.
Probably best, yeah.
And our loot's up.
Why the wizard? And so if Wakanga's like kind of like furrowed brow and not really necessarily liking the story, it'd be like Bronson's gonna be like, I met the big lad on the job. He's just trying to make some cash together, and he's a good lad. He's got a kind heart. He's He's not what you might guess from looking at him, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, and them kind
He
of.
has a large head, I would say.
Quite right. And
Hands to.
and Bronson takes a small step away. I'm quite sure I'm
And I step
Go ahead.
closer.
It cuts to Valkyr in the corner.
You know where they come.
Oh, can I ask this?
Everybody starts snapping. And don't worry none about him. The Red Wizards is no friends of his. And if they're no friends of yours, the enemy of your enemy is fool me again, you're not going to fool me again. Right?
I believe I catch your meaning.
Also, an apple a day keeps the Red Wizard away.
And Bronson's stomach grumbles again. And he goes, oh. And then starts eating another banana, even though he totally shouldn't.
Very good. So, if you would like to make your way down to either tavern, this would be one of the best places in order to find more information. But as I look at where the sun is at in the sky right now, you would probably do best if you would like to meet up with my man to go to the west gate to where the racing track is. That is where you will find Pachua.
I like a good rice.
We might need to stop at shopkeep and get some provisions, especially if we're heading into the jungle. I'm thinking, and she kind of looks down at her heavy splint. I'm thinking this isn't the best to wear in a hot, steamy environment. Plus, I don't want it to rust.
If you are not, how should we say, attached to that garment, heavy armor does fetch a high price here, as it is not exactly plentiful.
It's not as special to me. I just I do like being protected. Yeah. So maybe your man on the way to the West Gate or we can go to the West Gate, meet your friend, and then go to the shop. He might have recommendations on provisions we might need. Clearly, we're going to need some insect repellent, lizard killing implements.
Some machetes.
Yes, sharp blades for cutting down flowers.
Oh, you are a fellow botanist.
Flora and fauna interest me. I'm a keeper of knowledge. And she pulls the book encased in a metal outer off her belt and holds it up. But in this here, it's the learnings of my life.
And so he starts thumbing through it with your permission.
Oh yeah, he can thumb through it.
Yes. Please follow me.
Some more
Follow me.
fingers in there.
And just going through the folds of paper, he takes you down the hallway and opens up the door on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And the front one definitely appears to be his bedroom. There's
Yeah.
some kind of guest quarter. To the left, to the right is
Is this
a
the one with the
rather
garden in front of it?
expansive
Yep.
library. And as you come in, you smell mahogany. Well, no, because this is a tropical area. This is where you would get these kinds of woods.
Okay, yeah,
Touche.
Leather-bound books. You smell that as well. There's
Goddamn.
incense that is burning in there. To make sure that there's no insects or anything like that. So a slight haze just kind of hangs and lingers in the room. But the way that the air currents move and light streams through, you can almost, like if somebody was sitting there reading you a book, you could almost just sit back and find it very relaxing, very peaceful. The sounds of the port outside you're not really hearing from here. Well, no, yeah. But he says there is something you should know about this area if you are planning to venture your party forth into the jungles. There is a certain thing called the dancing monkey fruit, and he shows you kind of what it looks like through these drawings. He talks to you about minga leaves,
Dancing
rye
monkey fruit,
yeah.
mango leaves.
Menga leaves, M-E-N-G-A. Ryath root.
Did I leave some dancing monkey fruit in my pants? You may reach in and check.
Roll a charisma check.
With this, while he's doing that, would you say that I could recognize these things on sight with what I'm looking at? So I'm gonna try to do some quick sketches in my journal as well, or my book.
Later.
And he says, it has been many seasons since I lost my wife. I don't know if you are being serious or not. I mean, you are etched by very blessed gods.
I
when
am
they
a
created
bard, but I was speaking to the large-chested woman.
you. Very well. My mistake. My
And I
mistake.
give him a big wink.
And he does a very noticeable. So you would know these three things on site.
About these witnesses.
Roll 3 nature checks.
Okay.
Roll the first one, roll them independently. So the first one for the monkey fruit.
20.
Well, stop!
Oh.
Alright, so dancing monkey fruit,
Oh.
you have heard
This
of...
second roll counts, by the way?
No, it doesn't.
God damn it, no,
Would you like some poop dip?
Is that the price for a natural 20?
That sounded like a kobold to me.
Sure, I'll have
You
some.
want that 20?
Why?
Jesus! This is why we can't have nice things.
Is this called for?
No, it's okay.
That's my own thing.
We're fine.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is the dancing monkey fruit.
Yeah, the dancing monkey fruit. You know that they are pretty decently rare. So most fruit, like a banana or an apple in Faerun, is like a few coppers.
Right.
Dancing monkey fruit, you think would fetch some gold if you could find it.
Are there any medicinal qualities to these fruits? Or?
Well, that's what he's rolling.
Okay.
And so if the juice is consumed, you must succeed in a DC 14 Constitution saving throw, or begin a comic dance that lasts for a minute. It compels you to start dancing and going nuts.
I didn't see any of that out in the continental breakfast.
So you think you could weaponize the juice
I feel it
to make people do things?
Not the first time someone said that to me.
Yeah.
today.
So I rolled a natural 20 for the next one, whatever that is.
Yeah. So the manga leaves, they are a bush that is low on the ground. Doesn't really grow that much. The leaves can be dried. You can take those, ground them. They can be dissolved in a liquid. You can ingest it. You can turn it into like a powder. A creature that ingests an ounce of it
Boil them, mash
regains
them,
a hit point for each ounce. But you do know that it is possible to OD on it. You're not sure how much.
Even with that 20?
Oh, actually, yeah, you did get an at 20. Yeah, my mistake. So you think that if somebody consumed more than 5 ounces, your average individual, it would probably knock them unconscious for an hour.
Average human.
Wow.
Is that at once 5 ounces, or is it like...
Yeah.
With that roll, that's the best you could know without further study, since you're not from here.
the last one then, the Riot Root, 9.
So you do know that is extremely rare. A lot of healers would have that as like their oh shit button. If they were losing somebody that they were operating on or something like that, they would take the root and have the individual ingest it, and you think that it could give somebody some temporary hit points.
It's like an adrenaline shot or something.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Wakanga, I have to thank you for this knowledge. I think it will help us as we
It's
proceed
very good.
to the jungle. I would ask at some point after we've killed the god fetus demon abort baby and saved the world, as we're on the path to do.
What the hell are you talking about? God fetus? This word I do not know. Fetus?
Story time. And he cracks another banana.
Oh God!
When is
You're
this gonna be
almost
time
like
save?
it's almost like a kid has his hand in your gut, and it's like a small child that's never really used a screwdriver, and they're really just gnawing and trying to get this screwdriver to turn. That's exactly what it feels like your guts are doing right now.
So if your man can show us to the west gate so we can talk to your friend Poncho, we can then
Pachwa?
Poncho, and then we can find a shopkeep and get our provisions for the jungle.
Your dwarven accent, forgive me, but I believe you are referring to the slick covering that you would keep rain off of you. His name is Pachua, not Pancho.
So your friend Pocahontas that you're going to introduce us to.
You will find him just around the riverbed up there.
We go that way. Gentlemen, Yolton, shall we proceed?
Oi.
I do have one more question. I was curious what you thought of the persecution of the lizard folk in other areas. Not sure if you've heard, but in the town that we came from, actually, they've started hunting the dragonborn and those with scales. So
This is very troubling news to hear. We had heard that Leslie, are you alright?
He hands her a banana. That's his last one. He's done now.
Jesus Christ.
that good, huh?
It's fucking amazing.
Very good.
Very good.
It's eating through the bottom of it.
Oh
It's
Is that for real?
It's absolutely eating through the bottom of it.
Better drink it fast. Then.
Give that man an inspiration.
Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
I already have one.
No, it's
advantage.
right.
that's the advantage.
Oh, it's an advantage one.
Advantage, yeah.
Oh. All right. then.
Tiers of tokens. Yeah.
So you were saying about the dragon?
So this is not something that I have heard of, but this is troubling to hear. I had heard of the cult. They had come down here and extracted some type of artifact that they took up, trying to bring Tiamat back. The fact that we all breathe and are eating a large amount of bananas is testament that Tiamat has failed.
That Tiamat is what?
Fail.
She has failed. She must be seething down in the Nine Hells, weakened from her attempt. But it is good, which means likely we will not see another resurgence of her in our lifetimes.
Thank you for your kindness. I think we're ready to make our way.
Boy, anything you want us to say or tell your friend Patchouli Chicken Neck that we should be able to
I
tell
believe
him?
his name was Pachwa.
Pachwa
Yes.
Kokonok. That's what it was. Kokonok.
Yes.
That's right. Is there anything?
Kokonok.
Is there anything that we should be telling this fellow of yours to convince him that we know you? Any letter we should give him or anything like that? We'll just be able to find him. He's one of your riders.
Like perhaps a signet ring or something of the sort.
I don't think
I
we
am
need to
not
worry
in the
about
habit of handing out jewelry to those
No,
who
we
I
don't.
just
We don't
met.
want anything of value. Just
A wax seal, perhaps?
A lock, maybe a bit of blood or a lock of hair.
what in the hell is wrong with you, lads? I was just saying. We want to. What's he look like? We want to make sure we find your man.
Can you give us
And
a
he
finger?
points down.
I misunderstood what you were looking for. My apologies, Bronson.
Boy, I don't know what sort of weird shit you found on the continental breakfast. I was just having some bananas, and his
And he-
stomach grumbles again.
He points into the library, and you can see that it's 6 stacks high. This will be a detail only those who I trust will ever know.
Library is 6 stacks high. Right. Alright, Jotun, you lead us in, to the man and let's do our thing. Valkyr, can you play us some music while we travel?
Thank you very much, sir. And on our way out, Bronson gives a tip to the guard that was at the. He's probably standing there with a spear, right? Puts a coin in his pocket.
What kind of coin?
No. So a silver. I'll deduct it.
Oh, really baller.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, you guys, you start to walk out. You see him go back into the library. Clearly a very learned individual and one that really appreciates, that kind of the value of knowledge. He does say, should you care to find ways to make money, that the job board or the inns would be good places to find those who are in need of your talents.
Hi. And as we're walking to the west gate, I'll just depending upon what this guide says, it might behoove us to find something. Maybe we can.
I don't want to get no hooves. I don't have to.
Fair. But if we're heading into the jungle, maybe there's a job we can take on the way in or on the way out, so that we're making the best use of our time.
Oh yeah, done some jobs going in and out before. I know what you mean.
Fair.
So
roll out, boys.
as you guys are exiting, since you came in later in the day, there wasn't a lot of commerce going on. It was just more the dealing with boats. So as you exit out of his immediate villa and then outside of the walls, you see day stalls that have been stood up. People are selling things from here, scrolls, different types of potions. You see these interesting looking bone masks, but the size that like a child would wear, not an adult human. And you see a lot of these little masks that are lined up, and you see tablets with rolled up scrolls. Some of the scrolls are opened up, and it looks like rubbings that have done across different things. So common inference would be that there's some kind of lost lore that he sells, teaching people about different elements of the jungle. So knowledge seems to be this Congo Tamu's kind of his main domain is thought for what he sells.
Interesting. So
The
it's
knowledge
his
of-
stall.
Well, no, like all the stalls that are right by his villa.
Okay.
That's kind of what you're seeing there. You do know from walking up that you hear people that talk about the Great Souk, which is like a large bazaar. And so this is just kind of where certain items that you wouldn't want to be taken out to the main markets, where they would be sold, and then you could immediately, at the end of the day, transport them and have them right there behind your walls.
So Mukanga appears to be a purveyor and purchaser of knowledge, something we make use of in the future. Is that your man over there?
He's not with you guys.
No, but we have a guy taking us to the west gate. I thought,
No, we're just
No.
walking
Okay, I thought he said my man will take you to the gate. I missed that. Sorry.
there.
Okay.
No. But we're just walking by stalls. We just left his house.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
I
going
got
by
it.
stalls. So I'm gonna ask one of the stalls that has the rubbings. Oi, lad, what's the fancy coloring books you're selling? What's the story about?
Fancy coloring books. I do declare, sir, you are quite the blunt rube.
Don't you remember the last time you talked to a man on the street? What happened?
I'll give him a blunt rube if you know what I mean. And he fucking waggles his flails on his back.
Actually does.
Can you explain it for
I bet you do, big lad. I bet you do.
He has a sharp wit.
Well, I meant no offense, me sir. What is the what are these rubbings about?
And he takes you from left to right, and you see that they're rubbings of just pieces on the kind of bottom left-hand side.
Is it part of a cross?
No.
Are we going to the Holy Grail? What is going on?
But you see, like, it's a piece of a tablet, and based upon how this goes through, there's a part missing on the lower left and on the upper right. And you can see that same rubbing has been on these, and you see attempts to kind of, how would this be completed?
Gotcha.
And he says, as you would look here from left to your right, this was recovered outside of the lost city of Mesro.
Mesro?
Can you spell that for us?
Mezro. And you will notice here that the script is not dwarven. It is not what we would consider to be common script, but you see the arch here on this A, and he's really kind of taking you guys through the subtleties of how the script is made. And think about like the old Viking runes and stuff like that, and how those get adopted into modern day script. It's hard to do like a curved U whenever you're doing it, so that everything's kind of angled and stuff like that. And he gives you about 20 minutes worth
Oh, Jesus.
of
Glasmalian is aroused during this whole conversation.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
you-
have any extra paper? An ash?
Well, I mean, yes. We have quite a bit here for sale.
How much?
How much do you require?
Just a few sheets for us to finish the drawing.
Are you wanting to take a rubbing?
No.
Sorry.
You got massage parlors around here.
What if we were to make you a rubbing? It seems you're missing pieces. And I am just a bard, but
And Bronson puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "Don't tell the lad he's missing pieces. That's not a nice thing to say.
Especially after you
Seems
offer
like
him
he's all there to me.
you offer him a rubbing and then you insult him. He sounds-
Call him crazy and
Or
tell him
rubbing
you're going to
it,
give him a hand
tugging
job.
at his
That's just
heartstrings.
ridiculous.
yeah, maybe he's bartering with him, negging him thirst to bring the price down.
Well, that's all bards are good for is bartering.
And he says,
Billy hated that. He saw the collar drain out of his face. Fuck.
and he says, if you could do anything for me, I am a merchant captain. If you could map out the whole of Cholt and find the ruins of Nangalore and Orlunga.
Can you spell Bangarang and Noodle, please?
Oh yes, Rufio. So Nangalore, Nangalore,
Thank you.
and Orolunga, Orolunga.
Thank you.
I would be ever so grateful, and my ship, which is moored, I would gift that to you if you could give me an accurate map.
He's asking us to map a fucking jungle?
Lad, we can do this for you, no problem. Do you have a
I'm
card
concerned
so that I
about
might
the boat
catalog this? Do you really? Oh, I love when lads have business cards. This is fantastic. Oh my god.
And your name was?
Hold it up to the camera.
Lyric Dashling. So I go, do you have a card? And you hear, no. We need like the fucking quest accepted. So you have accepted the I'm on a boat motherfucker quest. Lyric Dashland will trade a sailing ship for an accurate map of Cholt that shows the location of the ruins of Nangalore and Orlunga. Reward seafaring vessel.
We get divorced if we map a fucking jungle. So
No, so he just wants
He
an
wants to know what these two
accurate
things are.
from Port Nyanzaru,
how to get to where these places
how
are?
to get there
Oh.
accurately, and get distances so that he could continue his studies.
Oh.
And he furnishes you with a map of Cholt for you guys to draw it in. And it is this thing.
Whoa.
Nice.
Just. Oh, Derek, how big is one of these here hexes on this map?
If I must venture a guess, I used a base 10 system. Each hex would be approximately 10 miles.
The other thing you wanna. I'm assuming it's a rather large piece of.
Yeah, this is a very large piece of hide.
Yeah.
Um,
Milling with two hands hands it to him. You grab it with a couple of fingers. I've got it.
And this is what you guys see. Clearly, you guys are in.
We're here. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And you've heard from Wakonga. There's the Kobold Mountains.
Peaks of Flame and the Sky Lizard Mountains.
So
So
there's
somewhere,
somewhere
in
there.
here. Well,
Yeah.
because they said it wasn't equidistant, so.
So, seems to me reasonable that the lost city of Marlon Brando somewhere in the middle there.
We should go talk to Punch Chips, and see if he can't show us where to go.
Fonzarelli Chicken Neck was his name.
I'm sure once we meet, we'll get his name right. But until then, this has been quite fun.
Do you have an idea where these ruins of Nangalore and Orlunga reside?
The way the words roll off your tongue is fucking beautiful.
And he shakes his head. My dear boy, I wish I knew more, but
A general direction from here, perhaps.
Is it fair to say that you only know these places by name and you have no idea where they are somewhere else?
no. Orlunga would be. You see here where we've marked Camp Vengeance. And he points
Oh, yeah.
right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, quest marker!
You got it. You can doodle.
Nice.
And so from Camp Vengeance, he says, that's most likely, west of there.
He's saying that the ruins are likely west of Camp Vengeance.
West, maybe southwest.
But start out from Camp Vengeance. Got it.
Yeah. And the sister city to it, but don't read into that is like they're right by each other.
Yeah.
But
Carrollton, Texas has a sister city in Germany.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The sister city of that, through his research, is at the head of one of the rivers, but he's not sure which one.
The other city's at the head of one of the rivers.
Yeah,
And
he's
so-
not sure which one.
These things are the bodies of water, right? And so we're to infer that the bodies of water, the rivers, if you will, continue in. Okay.
Wow.
You want to add to your inventory map of Scholt?
Oh yeah.
And then
And so if you guys go through this, and based upon rolling survival checks, I can unmask some of those if you don't get lost. I can unmask some of the hexes for you guys to map the shit out.
This is terrible.
Well, they were.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's going to be challenging.
Oh, yeah.
While they were.
Dan said he wanted a challenge.
I never said that.
he said, "No, you did.
Go to the tape.
You did when we were starting out. Strahd.
Oh, wait, you see any fucking vampires anywhere?
While they were talking to you.
Oh, no.
Great idea.
Oh, no!
They were
Jungle
talking.
ideas for
Jungle
I was
Daylight
like
vampire
rearranging my
snakes.
tarot card deck.
Okay, yeah. Roll a sleight of hand.
Oh, I have to do that.
You can roll at advantage since they were engaged in a pretty interesting conversation.
Especially how
And
the Passage trilogy starts out as Amazonian vampire tour.
nice.
22.
Okay. His passive perception, he wouldn't notice.
Then I'll like lay 3 cards down in front of him,
Mhm.
and I'll kind of do like a little act, and then I'll tap one and pull it over, and it will be the Explorer of Air. And I'll go, ooh.
What exactly is this chicanery?
You, sir, are an explorer of air. I knew it. You are one that is wise beyond all time and space, and from your height, you have a new perspective on the world.
I certainly feel like I'm exploring a large amount of hot air that you are belching forth.
Okay. That didn't work.
He goes, okay. Okay.
Did we get this merchant's name yet?
Yes, it's Larrick Dashlin.
Oh, that's right.
I'm tracking notes in.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Slack.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Larrick, it's been a real treat talking to you. And
Yes.
if we find your origami and umami, we'll definitely let you know. Shall we?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Again, my ship will be yours. Shall we see each other soon?
Boy, do you man this merchant stand outside of the manor all the time?
Yes. Master Otamu has me as his lead archaeologist, and I sell these on the side while I'm doing my research to help fund my expeditions. Offset his costs.
Well, we've got your card, and we'll be in touch just as soon as we, map the entire jungle and specific paths leading to these two ruins. Might I ask before we go, what is your interest in these ruins that you'd be willing to trade a boat for?
Well,
Rubbings, I think, is what he said.
I have found that I have no interest in returning to Faerun. Thus, the boat really holds no power over me anymore. I was once a man of the sea to find adventure, and there's more adventure here to fill an entire lifetime. And so, if I know directly where I'm going, it appears through my calculations that my lifetime will be longer than actually venturing into the jungle by myself to go and find these. Not that your lives aren't worth mine, but they're not worth mine.
It was really good talking to you. And as we start to walk away, I'll just sit on my shoulder. Professor Jones, I knew, once said, you got to get out to the classroom to be an archaeologist.
I'm gonna.
And nobody laughs.
I'm gonna holler back. I'm gonna holler back over my shoulder. I wonder if the boat comes with a full complement of athletic men.
Belongs in a museum. Alright, so you guys,
the West Gate, yeah.
as you're nearing the West Gate, you can hear a blast of horns.
You got it?
Should
Should have had that on standby, god damn it.
Close enough.
And these horns blow out, and you can see a group of different types of dinosaurs, all with riders, either looking like they're attending to them or riding on them. And you see bookies all around through what you would consider to be the pit area. And people are running up and they're placing bets, going around on this. And you see a long, blonde-haired individual that is standing on a hadrosaurus named Banana Candy.
Does it have banana candy scrolled on the side in like a cursive?
Well, you can see like the kind of stall area. They would have two sticks stuck in the ground and like a banner hanging.
Oh, with a banana and then a piece of candy corn, so we could figure out.
Yeah, sure. Hieroglyphics.
For those of us non-literate.
banana candy.
Does this individual look like they're a writer, an attendee, and doesn't match the description of who we were told?
Matches the description of Pachua Kochanik, although the garb that Pachua is wearing doesn't seem to come from here. In a lot of browns and greens that make up the skin of these dinosaurs, he is clearly standing out with very shiny red scale mail.
So does it appear like it's a race that's about, like, is that okay? So it's like the opening, the pod race scene montage.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Bunta's Eve.
Is there a betting booth anywhere nearby?
Yeah, you see bookies down there, and people are coming up, dropping coins, and he's writing, and large thugs are standing on either side as he's kind of writing stuff down, putting it in. Get your bets here. Get your bets. Bets here. Bets here.
I'll put 5 gold on our golden-haired friend here.
All right. So write this down.
Oh, so
So you are.
It's just about to start, right?
You are 3-1 odds.
Okay.
3-1 on me. Who are the highest odds on?
Big Honker, who is a crowd-pleasing young Tyrannosaurus Rex.
All right. So
Ooptow's favorite, which is a young Triceratops that's been on a streak.
This is
And then there's you. You are
third favorite.
Yeah.
And then who's behind me? Is there anybody close?
Yeah, Bone Cruncher is a very young, ill-tempered Allosaurus.
Okay. So
That's behind
And we're
you.
picking this up just based upon the talking in the crowd and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, there's got to be a bracket, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so you've got like the bookie would have a
chalkboard or something.
yeah, that's
So-
scrawled on.
I'm gonna go up to. So do I have some free reign to kind of walk around the stall and just kind of do my mantra before the race and like feel it? So I'm gonna go up to the number 1 seed, and I'm gonna cast suggestion,
Oh shit.
and I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna kind of get up to his face and just like pretend I'm doing my thing, and when no one's looking, I'm gonna get right up to him and be like, hey, when that starting bell sounds, you're gonna run as fast as you fucking can in the opposite direction.
Are you saying that to the dinosaur or to him, the rider?
Is the rider there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say it to the rider.
Okay.
I don't think the dinosaur.
So is it a
understand me.
wisdom saving throw for suggestion?
It is a yes, wisdom saving throw.
And what's your DC?
15.
15. Drink it, son! Yes! Dun, dun,
So
dun,
one of the things I love
dun.
about this is typically like the DM, doesn't share his roles or whatever, but we get to know when he fucks up. But also, today he made me drink when I rolled a 20. So is this good or bad?
So this is from
Keep
Wizard
it-
of the Wines. It's
sure.
part of the 1486. We are currently in 1492.
Yeah.
The 1486 vintage of the Captain's Poop Deck, a rum-based delectable delight.
Yeah, our
Just a little.
It sounds expensive.
just two
Wizards of the Wines is the best fucking winery.
when we roll 20s or 1s, we have to take a
Sounds like
drink.
quite a
And
light
our DM crafts beverages for
Takes
us.
a while.
Crafts.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Beverages.
In that they are technically liquid that you can't drink.
Right. Oh, there's the last of the purple grape mash.
Yeah, so in the past we had Purple Grape Mash number 3.
Wonderful.
I'd like to give you some other examples of beverages. Gasoline.
Drano.
Mucus.
Trino.
Yeah.
Red Dragon Crush.
That was
That was a good
powerful.
one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a
Good one.
treat.
Yeah.
It's
I
also
will
beautiful.
say,
Super well done.
I do have those sparkling roses.
the Great Mash wasn't terrible.
Yes, it was.
What are you talking about? AKA the hot face. I'm
The
curious
hot
to see what
face.
this does to my face. Maybe it makes it cold. It could be the cold face.
So, there's no
Work face or good?
It's pretty
Um,
good.
Pretty good.
The warp face.
Yolton, you're placing a bet on our potential guide. Do you? I mean, we're going to need provisions, correct? And I mean, it's just a game of chance, right?
That's why I'm better.
Well, yeah. Perhaps as the race starts, I can, maybe put the blessing on him and his mount.
Ooh.
I'd have to do
Sounds to me like you lot were a bunch of goddamn cheaters.
and
then he goes, 25 gold on that man there!
Am I allowed to bet on myself?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop all 200 gold I have on myself.
Okay.
We need a clinking sound.
Yeah.
But seriously, take those.
Alright, so
And
you
what
put
you do
200 on yourself. How much are you putting on him?
5 gold.
I'm putting 35 gold
Little
on.
patchouli rose over here. It was a stretch.
No, it was good. It was good. It took me a second. I was like, oh, we're still making fun of his name. 35 gold on the blonde-haired, scaled, mailed-wearing individual.
Okay. And Bronson hears her do that and goes, "You one up in me, lass?" And he goes, 77 gold on that man.
Yep.
Feeling lucky. 7.
35 gold on Pikachu Kappa, please.
God.
Alright, 77 gold removed.
Yeah, I'm taking 30.
What are the rules of the race? That's like I'm pondering, looking around.
So,
We're placing a bet with no idea.
He goes, "Come on, Patchwork, Crackerjack. You got this."
Kill everyone else.
yeah. So these dinosaurs are expensive to be able to train and domesticate them enough to be able to ride them. So typically they frown upon any type of having your dinosaur attack another one, which is why you see a mixture of herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores along the racing lines. They will go, you would think that each animal has its maximum distance that it could travel and around. To make it dash, you're probably having to whip it with a riding crop, and it's up to that specific dinosaur breed to be able to withstand that and be able to go forward.
So they have to whip it good.
Whip it real good.
So they can't. Is the rule they can't hurt each other? They can't attack each other purposefully.
There's no rule that says that they can't. It just doesn't happen because then you would very rarely have any races because it takes so long.
Is it like bumping in NASCAR? Like it?
If they're rubbing, they're racing.
God.
What? I'm from the Texas Panhandle.
Alright, that's
Cool.
fair.
Yeah. So I guess we're all. I want to position myself close enough to the starting line.
Okay.
I need to be within 30 feet or so.
Okay. So here's a few ways we can do this. I've got the stats rolled up for the different dinosaur breeds. So everybody here, if we all want to be rolling, we could do it, and you guys would take control of the different riders.
Okay.
We could also have it if you guys want to enter into the race yourselves. You could try to, and I'll let you take your betting money back if you wanted to.
I might do that actually.
You could try to go and ride the animals, or we can just have Alec roll it, and I can do all the rolls for everybody else. So it's either you guys take control of NPCs, you can race yourselves if you want to, or
I'm
have
about
me
to
do
stack the deck further, so don't bother.
I'm still gonna enter this race.
it. Okay.
I'm going to be Bronson on the sidelines.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
so
you
like-
take your 5 back.
Put it on me.
Okay.
Lame-o.
So
Well, I'll roll
Are you-
for an NPC.
Wait,
I know it makes
betting
some
on
sense here.
I mean, I'm betting on me.
You can roll.
roll
We can
a
roll for somebody
D6,
else.
and this is the breed or the species of dinosaur that you get.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
4.
So you too are riding a Hadrosaurus. So think of like a smaller Brontosaurus. It's got a longer neck on it, and decently sized. So you guys write the stats for this down. Its movement speed per round is 40. Its dash speed is 50. It has an AC of 11. 19 hit points. It's a +3 to attack and does 6 damage.
This is a lot.
I got
Its
it.
constitution is 13 plus 1. And the DC check for animal handling for riding these is a 10.
You know what? I know you're the champion. I know you'll always be the champion in my book. But I think I'm going to bet my money on the man that sat on a lizard before.
It's your loss.
I love your attitude, lad. My money stays on that.
Okay.
Champion, the challenger, whatever.
So,
Valka, on the other hand, does not agree. I will put 25 on our champion. And also, this is me thinking internally, 50 on the other guy.
So you put 25 on Jotun,
Yep.
and then 50.
So I'm like smiling, prophesizing this, and we turn around, I'm talking to the dude, I'm
So
like
3 to 1
sliding
is
like
only
2
3
piles.
times.
That's amazing.
What
That
are
is
the
awesome.
what are the odds that Jotun's getting?
Well, he's not in there.
100 to 1.
8 to
Yeah.
1? No, he's in last, whatever last is.
Yeah.
5th to 1, 6th to 1.
So
Come on.
his
25 to 1.
Man, it's worth putting a little.
he's
roll on
1
there.
to 7.
He's a giant
So
wizard,
you would
right?
get like if he wins, you get a 7x payout
Yeah.
on the money you put in.
Oh,
You guys would get a third of your wager that you put on him in addition to your wager.
Yeah, Bookie, I apologize.
Oh.
but my friend,
Yeah.
my friend is
He's 1 to
Because
3.
if they are heavily favored,
Favored.
you're not going to get paid out. As
He's
much.
3 to 1, not 1 to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Bookie, I hate to do this to you, but my friend is into the race, and I need to change where I put my bet. I want to bet on the tall blue man.
And you're going to be moving all 35 of your gold pieces over onto him.
All 35, yes.
Certainly, certainly, certainly.
And
I don't
then
know what to do with mine. I feel like
It's
the
the-
payout is so high. That's crazy.
it's worth it, and don't worry, we'll tip the scale a bit. And like when you're selling fish at the vendor and you leave your hand on the fish.
You telling me you're cheating some more? 150 gold. No, he's gonna move the 77 over.
Wow. Okay. So,
You'd
roll a perception check.
This is all the money I've got.
Perception
Yes.
21.
Yeah, so you are looking over at the bookies, and
They add somebody new. And
you see a new rider getting added in, and you see a group of lavishly appointed compared to most people are just wearing like silks. You see a dwarf in heavy armor with a large bosom. You look over, you see a human with 2 massive flails hanging off of him, bald head shining.
He also
in
has
the
some
sun.
weapons on his back.
that's right.
You see a Goliath, which is a species you've never encountered before, although you have seen that skin tone because there are frost giants that have come down here recently. So you recognize him. He looks like a miniature version of one of those, but a gigantic human. You see probably the most attractive man that
Besides myself.
you've ever seen. Yeah, you're looking pretty majestic.
Now you put the mirror down. Now you see Valkyrie.
Yeah. And
Gross.
you can see very
Well,
interesting.
sorry, DM. I'm an Azamar.
Yeah.
Not human.
Well, but he
Oh,
would
yeah.
he would know that you're an Azamar.
I'm an Azamar.
Yeah, you
A
are.
scourged Azamar.
You are.
Wouldn't you have been a
With
human before?
silver hair. No, I was born in Azamar. I'm
No,
half god.
yeah.
God damn it, Dan!
Asmar lore says
stand
it
yourself.
awakens in you, and you become an Asmar after you're already born.
No. It's not.
Fuck you changed it.
I didn't change it.
That's actually pretty fucking good, guys.
You're full of shit. Your eyes are watering.
No, it's Lee. He's full of shit because he started talking.
Alright.
I'm sorry. That was for the off-camera cuts at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I see this group of like
I love you.
saucy gentlemen blustering their way into the race.
Yes.
All right.
Just him though, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah. You
and then-
only like no. He sees all you jackasses.
Okay.
Because you stick out
Promotion.
like sore thumbs.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep my eye on this newcomer, but I'm going to get my mount, get to the starting line, and then I'm going to prep my cause fear spell for as soon as the bell goes off.
Nice. Okay.
How's your face?
That was like a sip.
How's the back of that throat?
That's gross.
It's
Damn, it's
it's
bad.
okay.
That's the cyanide.
It's not good.
It's that bitterness.
It's because it's numb.
Yeah. Can you feel the lingering chloroform afterwards?
It's like,
Oh.
but you can't smell either, can you?
Where
Alright,
does
so-
Nikes come from?
Jotun's on his dinosaur.
Yeah.
Alright.
Could you
Do you want us to
describe
roll for the other NPCs?
Yeah, if you guys want to. I
Yeah, I'll
think
do
it'd
that.
make
That'd
it
be
fun
fun.
and more.
That'd be fun.
Could you describe the
Dan.
racetrack a little bit?
Yeah, so the racetrack, you think goes around a good portion of the wall, and then you see it go out into the woods. So you guys are up on a little bit of a rise where the west gate is. You can see through a few generations. If you guys look at the like the map, there's good clearing. That isn't completely clear, so it's not a flat plain. But you can see that a lot of trees have been felled in this area as they use these trees for wood construction and the like. A lot of ships are made from these very large, so these are tall trees, very thick trunks on them. Some of them are actually look metallic, and it's a Choltean ironwood tree, and it looks silvery as it comes up because I didn't paint. But it's lore now, motherfuckers.
That's how the DM works.
Yeah. So you see all these, a sparse amount of trees, and so further out you can see that it goes out into thicker jungle, and then you see a road coming back. You assume to be where the thing terminates, and there's a lot of people that are around the opening straightaway, and then through a few turns. Nobody is going anywhere near the jungle covering. From what you guys can tell and what you know, people are very, very afraid of the darkness.
How one of the bookies that said, how long does this race normally last? Is it a fast race or a slow race?
It's pretty quick. There's for the mechanics here. I'm gonna you guys are probably gonna go 300-400 feet. Based upon your
between 6 and 10 rounds or something like that. All right.
And go forward. So the big honker. Who wants to play big honker? Who's the favorite?
I'll roll the favorite.
Okay. So for a Tyrannosaurus Rex,
Jesus.
you
Not a fast
are
Oh,
doing a
6
speed of 50, and it can actually do a dash up to 100.
So it's the favorite.
The skill check, like the DC for your
The
animal
animal
handling, is 18.
Hopefully this rider's got a big bonus.
I was gonna say. it's
But
not
here's
your
here's
bonuses,
here's the
right?
fun rule. If your animal handling check is made with advantage, so you can do them at advantage if you're lashing at it, trying to make it go faster.
You're letting us make these choices though?
No, we'll
Like
just do
when
the
to
rolls
dash
that we-
or- Oh, okay. So he dashes, you roll whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
If he does this and you do this at advantage and you fail by 5 or more, he goes berserk and is out of the race.
Does
And
he eat the rider?
He will just fucking lose his shit.
Come on.
It's great.
Alright, so then the second Ooptal's favorite is a Triceratops. Who wants to roll that one?
I'll do that one.
Okay. So you have. Oh, I didn't go through the rest of your
Stats?
Your stats, sorry. So
Okay.
for the T-Rex,
AC.
armor class is 13, 46 hit points,
Jesus.
plus 6 to attack, 9 damage, and has a constitution of 17, which is a plus 3. And so the way the mechanic will work is if you guys are just going regular, you roll a straight up animal handling check, and if you are greater than what the DC is that's listed, you move the base number of spaces.
Okay.
If you want to move your extra spaces, then you will start lashing at it. You get to roll advantage on your check, but your dinosaur has to pass its Constitution saving throw of DC 10.
Good rolls. 7 and a 2.
Okay, so and it is 17 plus 3, so you got that.
Yep,
So
I'll
for
get that
Triceratops,
Yep.
50 regular speed, 75
Dash.
dash.
Yep.
The DC is a 14,
Okay.
AC of 13,
13. Yep.
hit points 38,
Yep.
attack of plus 5, does
Yep.
6 damage,
Yep.
and has a constitution of 15, so that gives you a plus 2 on the con save. Any interest in rolling?
If you want me to, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Fucking God.
So you will be Bone Cruncher,
Yeah!
the young ill-tempered Allosaurus.
Yep.
Speed of 50 and 80.
Okay.
16 is your DC check for being able to control it.
Okay.
AC of 13 has 30 hit points, plus 6 to attack, does 8 damage, and has a Constitution of 15, which would give you a plus 2.
Constitution of 18, which is plus 2.
Mm-hmm. And then I will be rolling for Grung Stomper.
Was that groin stopper or groan stop?
Grung.
Grung.
And you would know that Grung are like frog people that live out in the jungles.
Frog Stomper would be a good name too, actually.
Isn't that a Silverchair album?
Probably.
All right. So does everybody understand kind of how each? So we'll go one at a time through each round, and at the round, the choice is: do I do a regular check or am I trying to get a sprint?
Okay.
If
You're telling us if we are, right?
Yeah. For you guys, he gets to pick
Sure.
what he does for his. He gets to pick what he does for his.
Right.
But for your other three, I'll
We're
tell
just
you.
rolling.
Yeah.
Right before the race starts, I do want to walk up to both the dinosaur and my friend, and as stealthily as possible, place my hand upon them with 3 fingers and say "Stratulare" and cast guidance on both of them.
Okay. So that gives them one roll.
One roll of their choice, they can add a D4 to it.
Give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
Can I approach?
I'm gonna roll this stealth check at advantage.
Okay. Can you turn that in?
Yeah, sure.
And you're kind of humming
Thanks.
to yourself the beautiful music that Volker was playing.
Natural 20.
Nice.
So it's a base 20 at minimum plus.
Yeah. So yeah, you are just kind of walking around and you're moving your hands across the dinosaurs, and you just look like this, really beefed up, fully armored tank of a woman who, it's just like whenever you go shopping with your wife and they have to touch the fabric on every fucking thing around them. That's what you look like you're doing, but you're feeling people and dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So you have guidance for one roll, as does your dinosaur.
Cool. Can I approach Achua before the race?
Yeah, if you choose to.
Oh, no, the red one, because that's mine. Yeah.
I would like to ask him. Well, I first introduce myself. So, greetings. My name is Jotun the Gift Aegis. You perhaps might not know of me, but I am a Goliath champion. We actually come from Kanga at his behest, but we thought we might get involved in this little venture here. Might I ask, what's your cut of this race?
My cut.
What gold price do you make?
So if you get first place, you're awarded 300 gold.
Is that it?
Second place would get 100. Third place would get 50.
There you go.
Well, I'll make you a deal. If you could see that I might perhaps take the first prize, you can have the entirety of my purse.
Well, that's going to be difficult, because I've already wagered 200 gold on myself.
Well, we'll see you at the finish line then.
And Bronson's in the crowd, and he's bought for himself like a Tyrannosaurus, like so his face is coming through like the mouth of the Tyrannosaurus, who's wearing like a big foam T-Rex head and has like paper wings on that he bought at a stand or whatever, and has like a big like dinosaur egg slushy, and it's got
You're sucking on
out.
it, and then you've got like the plastic version of Genji's sword.
It's perfect.
But it's like a pink sheath.
Yeah. And he goes, "Go get him, big lad. Good luck, patchwork."
All right. So again, we'll just go one at a time. You'll do an animal handling check, which is a difficulty class based upon the species of dinosaur that you're riding. So that DC I gave you is for that species. You choose at that point if you want to make it heads up or if you're trying to sprint, and you would roll it at advantage. If you choose to sprint, then your dinosaur has to make a Constitution saving throw to stay focused on the race. And for you and you, if you fail the
You two,
DC
right?
check, no.
Oh, us.
You two, because you have
Why not
carnivores,
When
They go out of control.
they will go out of
Yeah.
control if your DC fails by 5 or more.
And as I get back in position in the crowd, the very last thing I do is surreptitiously cast Bless. And so I'll form my hands.
Do another stealth check.
Be unique. So stealth check of 12.
And the guards kill you.
Brandon Slot.
So you see a robed individual that perks up, and you hear him go, and he speaks in a language you don't understand and points over, and comes over, and you see an individual with a big staff. It has 2 gourds at the end of it with some feathers coming down, and you hear as he's shaking it, something's inside the gourds rattling, and he touches the dinosaur that you're on and goes down the line, and you feel the focus that was on you before melt away.
So they don't get the dice.
Good thing I cast suggestion of the rider.
It's cold enough outside that y'all can open the windows.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Need a sweater for outside.
Good thing I brought my pink jacket.
Carhartt. Said no one ever.
Yeah, you guys want to open windows? It's kind of toasty.
Is it? Are you warm?
I'll open a window.
Okay. I'll take care of that. Let's get the race going.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get the race going.
So you hear, the call for everybody to move up. People start coming out of the crowds, and you hear chants and jeers depending on the different riders. They come from a tent, and they go and climb up onto their mounts and go over to the environment where kind of the starting line is, and it is just inundated with people. You can tell this is a huge morale event for the port town, and you can see standing off in the edges on what look kind of like grandstands, but wouldn't be that well built. It's just kind of trees that have been felled that have stacked up. There's people from all walks of life all over the planet that as they've come here, this is a signature event that happens in Cholt, are these dinosaur races. And so you see an individual that was in the robes comes and stands before everybody. He is a toadish looking man, wispy, very patchy gray hair that hangs down beyond his shoulder. He's wearing blue robes with gold and silver weave inlays. Portly as he comes kind of waddling out, and you can just see parts of his stomach are kind of poking out underneath his underclothes, underneath the robe. And so you see kind of dark colors with like these flashes of really pasty white, with what looks kind of like he hasn't bathed very well, so it's like a collection of stretch marks and almost wart-looking things on there. And he comes out and says, "Well, we're here standing outside of the gate, and we're about to engage in yet another Port Nyanzaru race. It's so good that everybody here has been able to come out. We, the assembled merchant princes, are very happy to be able to have you. Yes, I share your sentiments, young lad. know that the continued operation of this port is what allows these types of frivolities, but I ask that you do not venture close to the jungle canopy, as we all know what happened to Bubblegum Tate. And everybody bows their heads. It looks like they're from here. And there's a moment of silence for Bubblegum Tate. Certainly, we would not want to tarry any further. Riders, mount your lizards. And so you hear another fanfare of trumpets, and it gives way to these war drums. Boom, 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 boom. And these are just hitting, and you're like, this is what it's like to be inside of Ryan Henderson's head. And it's, yeah, just starting to fucking go nuts. And so you hear them call out as the fat guy, you see him hold this like small hand cone, and you would know this is like a hand cone of thaumaturgy, and he hands it to an individual so it amplifies his voice. Riding in lane 1, Big Honker! And then the people start clapping and the like. Riding in lane 2, Ooptow's favorite! And a little bit less clapping. In lane 3, Banana Candy!
Banana candy.
And you actually hear like some spirited applause, but you can tell it's like a smaller group of people who really fucking hate the big honker crowd.
Oh, okay.
And so they're being like obnoxiously louder, like kicking shit and like clanking metal together. Riding in lane 4, Bone Cruncher! And then you hear like, yay! Riding in lane 5, Grum the Stomper! And a new arrival, riding in lane 6, Jungle Princess!
That's great.
And to
I
your
put my money
marks,
on him.
Wave to the crowd, take off my cloak, hand it to the attendant.
and you see the guy who's the kind of main the statesman out there appears to be some kind of mage of talent, and he says to the riders as you guys are assembled there, all right, whenever I fire my fireball into the sky, don't go when you see it leaving my hand. Wait until you see it detonate in the sky. And then he goes and stands off to the side, throws his fist lazily up into the air. You see skin and body mass moving in directions you didn't know that they could do in multiple different directions simultaneously. And you see a little twirling light shoot up in the air, and then and a louder detonation than what you would expect off of a normal fireball, especially ones that you've heard before, kind of takes you aside. And as soon as everybody starts lurching forward, you see the rider of Big Honker start whipping and turning the chains on the Tyrannosaurus as hard as he can. He will roll first. Yeah, very good.
This is gonna get old, but we'll leave it.
So this is a DC of 18, as he is whipping, but he gets to roll at an advantage. And so you guys are all plus 2 for your animal handling checks if you're an NPC.
Okay.
Ooh, natty 20. So
He crushes it.
he rushes it, and instantly, Big Honker is running in the opposite direction, just sprinting off like crazy.
Oh, you did that.
Now, Big Honker, you hear it just as it kind of yells out, and it has to do a DC 10 Constitution saving throw to not lose its mind. And there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex that is now gone wild and is running directly into the pit and is starting to like bite down. And you see a guy cut in half as his tail end just goes spiraling up over the crowd, and you hear what starts sounding like the gasping of horrified people go into just this ruckus applause across the rest of the assembly. Probably 200 people out in the immediate area just going nuts as this like lower part of the torso goes out. And it lands in the stands, and legs are being thrown back out like that annoying beach ball at a concert. And it's coming up and hitting people, and then people are flinging it back. And this is a fantastic way to kick it off. All right.
I want to use distraction to try to move forward and cast Bless again on. He still has it. I want to cast Bless on his dinosaur.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll.
Would I roll this at advantage due to the distraction?
Because you have been seen to be a...
No one saw me.
They did. And
13.
13.
Is that which check is that?
It's Bless.
You have Bless on you?
Did it dispel from both the dinosaur and him earlier? So the suggestion didn't get dispelled, but the Bless and Guidance had gotten dispelled?
No, everything's cleared off of it.
Okay.
The beast.
Because he was standing on his beast whenever they were doing the Dispel Magic, and it's...
Okay.
Well, it's an anti-magic field.
Okay.
That they would cast at the starting line.
Alright. Get Bless.
Sweet.
I want to give him a bardic inspiration as he leaves.
Alright, so as you guys are starting to ride out, and you see in the pole position...
But I have a message on the whisper to him.
Okay, one sec.
Okay.
You see in the pole position, the Tyrannosaurus turns around, and you're hearing behind you as you're kind of chuckling to yourself. You hear the bite, and you hear screams and cheers, and so you start to go out, and out of your periphery, your eye gets caught and fixated on that very well-dressed, well-chiseled individual.
And all you hear is, you see me talking and saying this, "Ride like the wind, my beautiful friend."
You have a D6 you can use.
Why would you?
All right.
Because I got more money on
So-
you, idiots!
Did my fear spell go off when he fired the fireball in the air?
No. You said you were going to hold. You had that prepared.
As soon as
on
he
fear. So
as
you
soon
want
as he
that to
fired
go
it,
off?
I want it
Okay.
to go off at the beginning. Just
Okay.
targeting
I'm winning it
second
either
and
way.
fourth place.
Better if you
It's
say
doing
drink in the
But it's
message.
the dinosaurs themselves.
Okay.
They don't need to be able to understand me. It's just
So
a
what
creature.
is the DC?
DC 15 Wisdom check.
Okay. Alright, so the Tyrannosaurus is out of the race. The other two, so you would have Udabao's
That's
favorite and Bone Cruncher. Both of these, so your Triceratops that you're in charge of and your Allosaurus
Yeah.
are now feared and can't move towards him at all.
They have to move it an absolute opposite direction.
They have to
I mean,
move
I'm not
away.
upset. It's not my dinosaur. But this race is ruined.
So now it is. It would just be down to the two of you. So go ahead, and are you guys going to be dashing or regular speed?
I'll dash.
Okay.
We're the same dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
This is hilarious.
It's just down to the rolls of the dice. I guess I'll dash too.
Okay, so both of you guys roll an animal handling check at advantage. DC 11.
22.
15.
I
Okay.
forgot, Mike rolls like shit.
Both of you guys pass. So you
forget
do 50
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
300 apiece. So now roll a Constitution saving throw on the Tyrannosaurus. It's a DC 15.
Yep. So it's
It's a
15
plus
plus
3.
3 is 18.
Okay. So the Tyrannosaurus quits eating people and is able to, kind of get back to it. The rider, you're still not wanting to go in that direction. How long does suggestion last?
I think it lasts like a
8
minute.
hours.
No, 8 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
8 hours. Yeah. You just have to keep repeating the task. So, make a wisdom saving throw. Pursues a course of action to the best of its ability, and the suggested course of action can continue for the entire duration. We get one shot at beating it.
Okay, yeah, so you're just going to continue riding away in the opposite direction. But
Or
you're...
until the race ends, I guess they would probably wear off at that point.
Well, is it a concentration check for you?
No. Once it's
Yeah.
cast, it just goes.
So he's just going to ride off.
He's gonna fucking die.
Yeah, it can't push him to do something harmful. So once he gets to a point where
Right.
it's a threat to him,
He will stop his own.
So like when he gets to the jungle, he'll probably be like, no,
Yeah.
and break out of it.
Okay.
That would be my supposition.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
So you are at negative 200.
Not the first time I've heard that in my life.
Oh man.
And then the fear would be for each round, correct?
They get to
Yeah.
make a wisdom save at each round.
And he's on his dinosaur, and you can just hear him. Bert, you're just friends. Bert, you're just friends.
All right. So that gets us through round
It's topical.
one. Round two. Are you guys going to be sprinting
Wait, do we
or
need to
regular?
save for our dinosaurs? Do we do that?
We did not.
Oh yeah. So if you guys are sprinting, so it's a DC 10, and you have a +1 modifier on their Constitution.
Ooh.
13.
Okay.
Natty one.
It's the captain's poop deck for you.
Raise this.
Oh yeah, you can. He's got a reroll.
He's still. So he's not drinking.
No, he's
Do
drinking.
you not get to roll at advantage? This is not an advantage.
No, this is just a regular roll, yeah.
Just the
This is for the dinosaur.
Dinosaur
yeah,
itself.
I don't get any bonuses for that, I don't think. 11.
All right. So you're still in
Can we
the
get
race.
the higher end of the teens, please?
Wow.
Let's keep
we
double digits
gotta-
end in
I just
teen.
want to raise that blood pressure.
There you go.
That's all my money on you.
Oh yeah, do you
So
need
round two.
Fill me up, big boy.
Jesus.
Go ahead and you guys are both
Yeah,
sprinting.
sprinting. Still sprinting.
So roll at
Yeah.
advantage. Animal handling check.
18.
20.
All right. So you guys are both able to sprint. Roll your DC 10. It's a +1 for your dinosaur. To
13.
Is the dino blessed?
Both
Both of you guys are.
But blessing is only for saving throws and for attacks.
So this would be a Constitution saving
Con
throw.
save.
You get a plus
Yeah.
D4.
So for bless, can I roll and then decide to use the D6
Let me
or
tell you
whatever?
what it says. I think
Can't
I
remember.
think you just have to roll it.
you
I
get
have
it
to declare
automatically.
Yeah.
The
You
try,
just
you
get it.
can't
You just
roll
get
a
it.
D4.
You just get it
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
But I have to declare it before.
No, you just roll it. Roll and then add your
It's
D4.
like
Every
Vinny
time.
Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no matter.
Yeah,
Well,
these are really
every
shitty.
time.
Unless he's
Oh. Not a good
choosing
whack
to
check,
try to
yeah.
fail some.
Okay.
Like her check, you get to add a D4 to it.
Yeah.
Oh, so I should have rolled the
Just
D4
for the
last
Yeah,
time.
just roll a D20 and
Yeah.
add a 4 to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It won't kill you.
16.
16. Okay. Yep. So you guys are both good. We will do the fear checks on the dinosaurs. God damn it, they're still feared.
At 153, get a screenshot of Mike's face. Got it.
Oh, he drank it.
Dude, that's actually what we need to do in the opening. Is just have us like do
You-
everybody's. It's like bitter beer face.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
We should do multiple cuts of that video. We need a nose picking cut. We need a drink cut.
The hot face cut.
Yeah.
Just a crotch shot of everybody.
And then the 80s, like, aware of the camera.
Yeah.
One, two, where you going?
hey.
Totally.
we need a too many cooks one, yeah. It's like,
We got Dan's already.
All right, round 3.
All right. Dashing.
Dash away.
dash away.
Yeah.
Okay, roll it.
21.
19.
Okay.
Neck and neck.
And save.
You know, I got 17 or 19
Okay.
actually.
So
I
then
had a
roll the for the dinosaur DC 10.
I had a 10.
Okay, you're fine.
19.
Okay. So you guys are now in the middle of the jungle, neck and neck. You see the path before you. You kind of gone up and down some undulating terrain around the wall, and seeing guards literally are not guarding anything. They're just looking down, watching the race, kind of elbowing each other. The screams from the Tyrannosaurus Rex that had bit the person in half and then started running through the crowd, escaping. You're still hearing those screams, albeit very far off in the distance. And then there's just dinosaurs rolling around in circles, bucking and stuff like that, trying to get their riders off as they've been feared at the starting line. We're gonna roll for them real quick. What's up?
Glass is trying to circle through the crowd to help who she can who've been injured. Obviously, the guy that's eaten in half can't be helped, and anyone else who wants to try to help render
Okay.
it.
So your Triceratops is back operational.
All right.
Have attacked the fucking Tyrannosaurus.
Do you want to?
crowd is like-
He's gonna
Probably
dash.
I'm gonna need to dash.
So
yeah.
roll at advantage,
And what's that?
plus 2 animal handling.
I wasn't thinking about my character.
Oh, 1 and a 2.
Nice. Oh god.
That's amazing.
That's a 4.
Yeah.
So the Triceratops all of a sudden isn't feared, and then looks towards the finish line, or looks towards the start of the race, and you see the rider on there just whipping the shit out of it, as it's been the whole time, and it bucks him off, and he flies forward and gets impaled on the front one of the Triceratops' horns, and it starts taking off forward.
Princess Amidala.
And you hear him just screaming, and so Ooptow's favorite takes off finally after a decent amount of lag rolling around, and he's just screaming with every stomp as the thing's just clopping along. Blood trails along, he's just screaming.
What is our version of the race that turned into a bloody nightmare? There's already 2 dead people.
Yeah.
Hey, he's not dead yet.
Dead.
We're
Actually
not
dead.
dead
person.
yet.
really dead.
The guy that's split in 2, his corpse is like jingling
He's dead,
around.
yeah.
He's getting beach balled around this
Yes.
big crowd.
And they're loving it.
So, when that Tyrannosaurus attacked the crowd, was that anywhere near Bronson? He's fine. Like,
Yeah, no, like you
the
guys
crowd's
would.
huge, right?
These are like the die-hard rednecks that are just in the pit area.
Oh,
The
okay.
pit area's right behind it, so you would have moved over to the starting line to be able to get a good vantage point to
Sure.
view.
These are those assholes in the RVs.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's actually a good
Sitting
time.
on top of it.
They're in the middle. They're in the middle of the oval.
Yeah.
All
That's a real
right,
time.
next round. So you guys are deep in the jungle. Go ahead and give me. Are you still sprinting?
Yes.
Stop it. You're fine.
18.
Okay.
19.
Okay. So you guys are able to go Constitution saving throw, plus
I'm
1
gonna spend this.
on 10.
There
Yeah. I get more hot face though.
Damn! Natty one again? Oh my god.
I'm using my reroll for him, but this is
Wow.
looking bad.
Glass is just shaking.
Good.
I'm gonna have to Uber home.
Assuming you live.
Yeah, that's good.
It's only Saturday, right? Yeah.
It's only Saturday.
9.
9?
Oh shit! So then your Hadrosaurus bucks you off, and you are now in
You
the.
have one of these. I don't know if that's too late to use it though.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
those
because
are-
I've already adjudicated.
Okay.
So you have been bucked off. You
Change your D4 to that?
are. You're now in the middle of the jungle. Alien sounds all around you. It's very dark.
Oh,
Or
shit.
darker down in there, and your beast has gone the 50 feet. You fell off. Roll a d6 times 10.
5
50.
All right, so you fall off after it's gone. It's full 50. You get bucked off. So you're neck and neck with it, but you are
Kill this
prone.
dinosaur. Kill this dinosaur.
You were fine. You hear like the groaning of the other dinosaur, the Hadrosaurus, as it's blom, 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 and you see the neck turn real quick, and so the reins. You hear, and you see this large bluish gray mass shoot out, still holding on to the reins as he comes and hits the ground. So you're still holding on to the reins.
Okay.
But you were down on the ground, possibly about to get trampled. You're riding just fine. The T-Rex is now a good ways away, still riding off. Yeah. You, as the rider, Udabao's favorite, are bleeding out. Let's see what it does. Yep. So you're continuing down the racetrack. Impaled on a Triceratops, bleeding along the
I
way.
could win.
Also, the rider comes in first in front of the dinosaur.
So
So you're now up and in the race.
Okay.
is the Triceratops in the lead? Then can you do a quick breakdown of the where everyone is in the race? Sorry.
No, so these two are neck and neck. They're out in the jungle,
Yep.
and they're a good, we'll say 2/3, almost 3/4 of the way through the race. They're about to exit out of the jungle and start making their way towards the finish line. The Triceratops, with the body on top of it, is riding out into almost to the turn where it goes into the jungle. And you've got a group of people that you are cleaning blood off of them, bruises from the lower torso, smashing into them and stuff like that. You're doing triage on all that shit. Need you to go ahead and roll at advantage on your Allosaurus. DC is 16. You get a +2 to this.
Dan's rolling?
Yeah.
Why does he get a roll?
Because his guy passed the fear check.
Is it a 1?
No, it's a 6 plus whatever my plus is, so 8, I think.
Which is more than 5 off. So now the Allosaurus has lost its mind at the starting line. Bone cruncher! Go ahead and roll a d20 to
It's not
attack.
gonna be nobody
It's
left.
like dinosaurs gone wild.
Everywhere we go.
We burned down the town with a race.
A 9? Yeah, so it's a +6 to attack.
Oh, 15.
So roll a d10 plus
At
3.
a certain point, you begin to question: is it us?
Yes.
10, so 7 plus 3.
Jeez. Alright, so another person gets fatally bit in half.
Shit.
You really don't come back from that. And you gotta, Glaz, as you're doing triage on these people and you're hovering over them, then you hear more screams and your eyes roll in your back of your head. God dang it. You look up and sure enough, this other, instead of one kind of over or under going forward, this one's helicoptering. And just a good steady spray of his morning breakfast. Midway digested, the chyme, if you will, if we're going to go medical, sprays out all over people, and you're hearing more screaming and even more ruckus applause as people are cheering.
Wow.
So, yes.
There you go. Death-wracking wedding levels.
Jeez. So, you guys, you are now at disadvantage on your animal handling checks.
Okay.
You can try to climb up onto it, which would be an athletics check.
How far is he from me?
You guys are still
You're
neck and neck.
yeah.
I'm gonna cast fear on his dinosaur.
While you're being dragged by your dinosaur,
I'm gonna try.
Alright, so you
is that? I just got that.
concentration check.
Does that have a somatic component to it?
Yes.
It does, but I have Warcaster.
No. I'm in my mind. I want to visualize you. I'm not calling any math.
He's like holding the reins and using his feet to cling to the bottom of the dinosaur's feet, and he's like, fuck.
That's what I'm trying to
That's a spell,
visualize.
yeah.
That's all.
Alright, what's the DC on this check? And you're doing it on his dinosaur, not on him?
14, yeah.
Okay. Let me get the
We'll see if anyone
Wisdom?
finishes this race. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. So he's gonna roll. He's gonna roll that.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna rip pizza.
I'll eat something.
I think pizza,
Yeah, it's
Fucking
bizarre,
starving.
bro.
Sorry, give me some sauce.
Okay.
Just order everything in the world and let's all Venmo use money.
Yeah.
Alright. 103.
What?
103.
104.
104.
What a four.
Desert Mountain.
That's
Yeah.
I'll clip this.
Thank you.
The whole dinosaur race will just be lost now because
Oh! Oh! No, there's no city.
The
there's no-
former military. You're
you're right.
Don't
Nobody
worry,
has
it's
any
not
idea where we are
Uh,
in the
You
world.
can't- Mike's head's blocking it, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. So the dinosaur is feared. Do you have any type of dispel magic?
I do, yeah.
You can cast. Do you want to?
Yeah, I do.
So as a reaction, what level are you casting
It
at?
casts at 3rd level because it's my drow high magic.
What level is your fear?
You're drow?
What?
I
No,
casted it
it's
at
my
Okay.
feat that I took.
Oh.
So
part
you're
of my
casting
set
it at
spell.
3, and
Yeah.
him having a level
Sex
2,
spell.
you instantly
It just disappears.
it disappears. So your dinosaur is not feared.
Boo.
You hear the scared sound in your dinosaur, and you immediately reach down, feeling the weave of magic around you. And are you fiend or pack of the tome?
Hexblade.
You're an X-Blade.
Yeah, no,
What's your patron?
Well, that's a good question. It doesn't really say that. In,
Okay, so we'll say
HB.
you're the.
I was gonna say it's probably fiend.
So you hear this devilish voice in your head saying, "He's about to fear your beast." And so you counterspell that.
oh, he's good.
So give me an athletics check to try to,
Okay.
at disadvantage, to try to climb up. Since you can either try to stop it and climb up, or if you're going to try to go while it's running, what are you going to do?
Sorry, what are my options?
So you
Try
can try to stop it, which would take an animal handling check while you're on the ground. Then you would mount. You would get no forward progress this round. You can try to go while it's still going forward. You can't do a sprint, or you can just let yourself be dragged and try to whip it and keep it sprinting. You'll take damage.
I'll just try to move at regular speed, but just try to get back on top.
Okay, so that's going to be a
If I
we'll
use
call
this,
it DC. Yeah, so you can roll advantage. So we'll call it a DC 14 athletics check.
Is it a save? Or
No, this is a check.
Yeah. Worth the question. 2 13s, what does it mean? Plus 5 is 18.
Okay, so you're able to climb on. You make it the 40 points of movement, and so you know that he's still behind you, and you are continuing on with your movement. You're now back in your saddle harness.
Okay.
So are you going to be sprinting?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll at advantage.
21.
Okay, then roll the DC 10.
16.
You didn't have to use your bardic on that one.
Oh, it's 12. You're right. I'm sorry.
It's a DC 10.
Yeah.
So you're plus
Yeah,
one
yeah.
on that anyway. Okay. So you get the full distance, and as you guys are kind of coming up towards the home stretch, you're looking out in front of you. The Tyrannosaurus is now, you can see, off to your front and your left, and the guy is like whipping on it like crazy, trying to get it to not run off.
And we're
You
running
see
towards
in
them.
the pit area there is an Allosaurus that is lost its mind and is eating people. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw, DC 15 for your dinosaur.
I like that one.
Do you have the dice tray?
No, it's Tim's.
There's 13 people watching, by the way. So, DC, what was it?
DC
Rider?
13. No, this is for your dinosaur to like not lose its mind.
This is nuts, dude.
Okay, so I rolled a 12. Is there any
Yeah.
Hey!
You're missing a dinosaur race.
What?
I'm missing
I rolled a 12.
Yeah, so it's a plus
Or,
one
racing
for
dinosaurs.
your dinosaur.
racing dinosaurs.
Oh, wow, so medic, right?
Welcome to D&D.
What? Yeah, you met it. So you're good. So the Allosaurus quits eating people in the pit area briefly.
It's full.
The Triceratops.
Oh man.
What's going on?
Did we just turn off the parade?
Yeah,
So we're racing dinosaurs in a race. These guys are playing like NPCs. Also in the race.
So the Triceratops makes the turn into the jungle with the rider still going on, and the rider is starting to lose consciousness due to blood loss.
It's probably for the best, really.
That is
Wow.
a painful way to go.
Okay, so top of the next round, you guys see the finish line coming up. Both of you are back in the saddle, although he has a slight edge on you going forward. What are your actions?
Sprinting.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
16.
16. All right, yeah. Both of you guys make the sprint. DC 10.
18, 19.
Okay.
Plus 4 is 18, plus 1 is 19.
Okay, yeah. So you make full sprints and crossing the finish line. Number one, by a body length, we have Banana Candy, ridden by Pachwa Kochanik. Coming across in second, we have Jotun Aegis, and you were riding Jungle Princess.
Yes.
Any flavor in particular? No.
And so everybody starts cheering. That's the end of
I'm
the race.
standing up in my stirrups, just taking it all in.
All right. So you
Just
wagered.
whooping the crowd up just like crazy.
You did?
Not that they're not already insane after watching just mass murder and mayhem, but
Is this like the Cholt version of pod races?
Yeah,
Is that
exactly
what
right.
this is?
basically, yeah.
So you get 70 gold added
On top
on.
of my 200?
Well, you get your 200 back.
Right, plus 70?
Plus 70, and then you get 300
Oh,
gold
300 for the payout.
for the purse.
Damn!
You get 100 gold for coming in second, and you lose your 35.
Because we don't.
Oh no, your 5 that you put down.
Nerdy.
You lose your 35. You lose your 77. You lose your 25. But
That was stupid.
You should have put that your bardic inspiration on the guy 7 to 1.
You bet on me.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
No.
So you get an extra 20 gold.
Did you put in?
I lost.
So you net lose 5 gold.
No, I lose 25.
Yeah.
I get my 50 back
He was
from him.
1 to 3 to win, though. So if
1
you
to
bet-
3 or
if you
3 to
bet-
1?
1 to 3.
No, so he was 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
3 to 1.
Sorry, yeah.
So I
So
lose 5 gold.
you lose 5 gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Yeah.
But you made
lost-
out like a
we
bandit.
lost.
I made a lot of money here.
And
Sorry.
the
Party on me.
It's entertainment value.
the house doesn't close down shop, and you see them waiting, anxiously looking if the rider of Ooptow's favorite is actually if the Triceratops is going to follow the course and come back. Otherwise, according to Choltian custom, they would then get to pocket what the third place winnings would be. And so you see all the race officials just staring out there nervously.
That's great.
And they're kind of having conversations back and forth. All the Choltians come and they're mobbing him and mobbing you. They really love how close the race was. They've never seen this kind of, a Goliath before. For the most part, there may be 1 or 2 learned that would know what your species is,
I'll
but
come over and congratulate him as well.
I'm gonna be like,
Well run race.
yeah. You son of a bitch. No, I'm
By the way, that
afraid
happens every episode. That same son of a bitch handshake happens every 10 minutes, like for no reason.
Has anybody rolled a 1 yet?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
delicious.
Look at how much is missing.
How much cough syrup is in there?
This
Most
is a different.
different.
Enough.
This
the
is
answer.
like
Complete
straight
different
turpentine.
recipe. Complete
Yeah.
different
I think
recipe.
they're-
It's
It's
Did
a
you
rum
just
base.
admit there was cough syrup in
I
the
think
last
we-
one?
No, I'm just saying it's a
not
different
valid.
recipe.
I think we
from-
tasted Drano in this one.
Yeah, no antifreeze.
So here is what we know.
Something
These
lie
paper
in this
cups
one.
cannot hold it.
Yeah, it's eating through
It
the
eats
cups.
through the cup.
Are you serious?
Legitimate.
Yeah.
What are, is there like meth
But that could
precursor
be the
chemicals
cup.
in
That
here?
could be
It's
the
like,
cup.
what's
We
in
don't
here?
know.
Can see it.
I typically blame the cup.
That's
Yeah,
I think
it's-
it's a plastic cup.
low
It's probably
quality.
non-reactive.
What is
and
the
only
cup?
through the plastic.
It would be
No.
super funny if it just went right through them. Just like,
Jeez, gasoline.
yeah, it's bad. Look at the bottom of his cup. Hold that up. That's
Fine.
terrifying.
Yeah.
He's seeing the light.
So I'm gonna congratulate him and be like, hey,
Yeah,
great
it's
race.
melting
Oh wow.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
And so it begins.
No.
I was a little
So
skeptical of you
begins.
foreigners, but
I love it.
hell of a race, my friend. Hell of a race. Let me buy you a drink.
I will accept your kindness.
What
And,
is,
that
what is
goes-
your see a local? Are
That
you a
goes for
Chilton
your
local?
that goes for
Yeah.
your friends there too.
Well, he's not from Chol, but he's in the service of Wakongo Otamu.
Bronson takes off his T-Rex hat, and throws it on the ground, and like throws his slushy over his shoulder and steps over a dead body, and he's gonna go use one of the porta potties because he had way too
A
many.
lot of
bananas.
bananas. Yeah. A lot of
Oh,
bananas.
So
Go
where's
all
the
in on
nearest
bananas over here?
Well, they
watering
had
hole
continental
we can
breakfast
walk
at
into and have
Wakongo's,
a drink?
in.
Uh,
And I
and
know
so-
these guys
so
are
we
waiting
ate, like,
for me.
40
So.
What are you wanting to do?
He had never had
I
one.
want to go
It's
someplace
strong.
that's relatively quiet that I can talk to these guys, and I offered to buy him and all his buddies a drink with the winnings. So.
June my sake.
Wait, where did this guy come from? You're back in.
He's
I've
been
been here the
all
whole
time.
time.
He was disguised as a dinosaur.
I was very quiet, like a ninja.
Johnson, you have to remember that he's half ninja. So if we look away, he disappears.
If you don't look at me, I'm invisible.
From inside the porta potty, you hear.
Benji, is that you? Are you back, lad?
In the other room.
I will give my winnings split between you since you bet on me. So you both would only lose 6 gold total.
So I'll add 29
Because
gold back to my.
Yeah, because I won 100. I lose 5, but you'd only lose 6 apiece.
6 apiece? Okay.
Yeah.
Very kind of you, lad. Yeah, you know. If I,
From in the porta potty.
Better luck next time, big lad.
maybe next time we can coordinate our efforts and we'll see,
Perhaps.
and not lose 100 gold.
Play the odds, maybe.
I mean, I thought we were good.
So are we at the inn now? Or the
So you
tavern?
Yeah,
guys
whatever
can
is-
either go to one of the taverns if
Yeah,
that's where you want to
seedy
go
tavern
to.
that looks pretty, empty.
Okay.
Because I don't know who these guys are. I don't know what they want to talk about.
Yeah, maybe somewhere that has like
Jog over and join them.
curved encased within the glass, like maybe lightning bugs, so it looks like, and it
Yeah.
like
Like
it
a
says
club.
beer.
Alright, I have to follow, yeah.
But really poorly written font.
So
This is
as you
the
guys
DDR.
are, you're traveling through the old city through the west gate, and you're heading to the pub. You can see a carved out area in the ground that's 50 foot wide and 200 feet long. And you're seeing people gathering all around this, and you know this to be Executioner's Run. And this is part of he'll explain this to you, Poshwell will, that whenever Chultans are accused and convicted of crimes, often they're dropped into Executioner's Run, and it is a long gauntlet full of velociraptors, allosauruses, and other types of carnivorous dinosaurs.
And we're walking by this on our way over.
And you're walking by it, you're hearing somebody like, oh shit, they got somebody got convicted! And people are starting to sprint over from the races outside over in here. Chultans really like to bet on very primal contests.
Clearly.
And you see the bookie, oh, yeah, here we go! And so one of his big thugs is like collecting all the money that the house won, and the other one's gathering up the wax tablet where he was writing the odds and everything on it, and they're kind of putting a light candle next to it to melt it down so they can write back on it again. And then they go scampering off past you guys, and you see disappear into the throng. You can hear the bookie's voice coming over. All right, boys, this one here's a new entrance into Executioner's Run, never convicted before. And he's, kind of given what the crimes were and everything like that. And you see people are starting to place bets.
I'm gonna calmly explain to you guys what's happening here. So you see, when someone is convicted of a crime, they get put into Executioner's Row. And what happens is you can place bets, etc., etc. And this is gonna go on for like 15 minutes of really elaborate description. I am gonna go over and see what the odds are on this guy.
Okay.
I'd like to see Gauntlet run. I already made mine.
Oh, it's quite entertaining.
I'll be. At some point, we should probably talk to you about what we need your help with, so we can,
Oh, yes,
stop
of
the
course.
aborted God fetus.
In good
from
time,
taking
in good
over.
time. But this is good fun. This is good fun. Everyone.
So he
we'll all
is
enjoy this.
1 to 3 to fail, and you only get paid if you can climb up the steps at the end. So on this, you'd roll a d4, and you win on a 1, but you get 3 extra wager.
Who's the person running the gauntlet?
So this is an
A pack of
individual.
raptors. Nobody's running the pack of raptors.
Yeah.
It's like one raptor that has a monocle.
Who's running in the gauntlet?
So it's
Okay.
running. It's running the bulls
Actually-
essentially, but raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have the individual is 18 or 19, was caught sleeping with another man's wife.
Ooh.
And as he was leaving their house from the second story, he leapt out and landed on an elderly woman, breaking her pelvis.
Jeez.
And so she is currently at the infirmary, and the city, or the family of hers, is suing him for damages.
Question: does he have a fro and a smiley face tattoo on his butt?
No.
Second question: is she
Totally
gonna get a
gets it.
total hip spell?
What?
Is she gonna get a total hip spell?
Yeah.
Buy you a fish sandwich?
Yeah. No. Victims of the smiling ass.
Never saw it.
It's
I
It's
can-
worth watching. It's
I
good.
can assure you, I know something about victims of the smiling ass. Let me tell you, all in good time. Let's watch this little gauntlet run here.
Are
shall
you gonna
we?
put a wager?
Yeah. So it's 3 to 1 on this guy.
1 to 3.
1 to 3.
1 to 3.
So-
he looks pretty spry though. He's a young like
Young kid who's
Kid.
never been convicted of
Scrappy.
anything before.
scrappy though.
Yeah.
Do I know the kid? Do I know his family? Do I have any insight into who this guy is at all? Never heard of him. Does anyone around me?
You
seem to
really
be telling
don't
me
go
about this?
into like the poorer side of town. So you typically hang out in the like
around Wakanda's.
Wakanda's area in the
Pavilion,
Merchants
yeah.
Ward.
Yeah.
The old city. This kid looks like he probably lives around the big refuse pit,
So I mean, I
which
must
is a giant
know.
sinkhole
I
that
must-
opened up and they throw all their
I
trash
must
in
have
there.
some inside track with one of the bookies or somebody that could give me a little info on who this kid is and what the real odds are.
Roll like some kind of charisma check. Persuasion, if you have a proficiency, go ahead. But
They need skullduggery and
yeah, they really do. Yeah.
I'm gonna re-roll this, and it's what is the? There isn't really a skullduggery.
Yeah, just a general charisma check.
Okay.
You're +5.
what's your shady
14.
modifier?
14. Yeah, so you talk to one of the bookies.
I just like kind of shoot the shit. I'm not trying to get any insider trading detail. I just want to know what his general perception of this kid is.
As I take a look at him here, you see that kid over there? Looks like he's young, he's able-bodied, but not what a lot of people will tell you how mushy the elderly are. Whenever he landed on it, really turned his ankle something fierce.
He's got one of those like
So it's
like
3 to 1 against the
shallow
kid.
hats with the stripes
I'm
that are
gonna
going
go
outside.
You're
And
going
for some reason, tap dancing.
Is he
shoes.
in
I'm
some
gonna throw
kind of
down. I'll throw down 70.
Okay.
Question: if the raptors catch the child, does he get eaten?
Oh yeah.
Well, eating could be several different things. Are you talking about like entire consumption of the whole kid, or are you wanting to talk about him just getting chewed on enough to where he doesn't move anymore?
Would it be okay if I go and read him his last rites so that maybe my god can guide him on his path when he gets to the afterlife?
I'm by no means. I'm just here to take bets.
So I want to
Your religious things.
I
All right, we're opening up a new line of bets over here. Let's see if we can get 1 to 7 odds. If this amply chested woman over here can beseech her gods to save that soon-to-be dead individual.
I'm gonna go up to him and just do.
And people start coming over in this new line, and they're trying to do parlays between the different. You see the guy who's just writing all
I'm
over
still
his
throwing
legs.
70 on the kid dying.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch him and
Alright.
say Stratu a red cast guidance on him to help him start.
Roll a sleight of hand check or stealth, whichever one. Glass.
14.
Well,
Oh,
no,
him.
for him.
Oh, sorry,
See if he can get it off. What'd you
Is
get?
there like
Hot face?
No, 5.
Oh, 5.
is there like a pen of raptors? We can see how many there are.
So you see
There's a one
animal
lot.
pins that are
I know
out
this for
there,
a fact.
and they
I've seen
haven't
this.
led them in, but you see stakes for 8 different locations
Jesus.
to where
There's a
they'll be able
shitload,
to,
yeah. No,
to
there-
stack them in.
This kid's got a hurt ankle. I'm gonna say this. This kid's got a hurt ankle. He's got a chance.
Yeah.
So, Glaz, you hear the diagnosis given down that his ankle is hurt.
Well, I don't. So I take out a water skin, and I take a potion of healing and pour it in the water skin, and I go to the boy, and I start through the red, cast guidance on him, and kind of talk to him.
So, sleight of hand check on the changing of the.
18.
Okay.
And so yeah, I'm like, boy, drink this. It'll
Hand me one of your potions.
drink this. It'll help you. Hopefully you'll make it out of this alive. I don't really care if you win, but I don't want to see you get eaten.
Okay. So, it is now for him to die, since you've got money on the line. Roll a d4. Instead of you winning on 2, 3, and 4, you now only win on 3 and 4 on the d4.
2.
So
He makes it.
the kid goes sprinting through, and you see the bookies, looking at each other, and they're both, then there's a collection of 4 of them, and they're both looking at what everybody else marked as the odds, and it's, all within the pretty much the same standard price off of the knowledge that they had. They do see you going up and giving him the last rites, but he says, apparently that lady over there has quite the powerful god. As the kid has run through and he's leaping up over and was guesstimating probably the length that the raptors would be able to lurch forward, and he's sliding through corners, jumping up, doing wall walks and shit like that, which he probably wouldn't have been able to do with the hurt ankle, and is able to make it out the other end. Crowd is going wild, but you can definitely tell that there were some individuals out there that thought, based upon the hurt ankle, there was no way that they were going to be able to do it. So you lose your 70 gold.
Yep.
Sorry
Made
for
it.
your loss. I didn't want the boy to die.
Fair enough. But you don't know that kid. He's an adulterer. Probably a philanderer as well.
So you guys,
Those dirty philanthropists.
That's right.
you guys make it into the pub.
Ready, tavern. Sorry, go ahead.
You got tavern ready?
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna call out to. I assume I know one of the barmaids.
Yeah.
Tammy.
Jasmine.
Jasmine. Wrong bar. Sorry, Jasmine. I forgot.
Jasmine's eyes
Yeah.
flick you a look because he's an attractive looking guy.
Yeah.
You called
yeah,
another
you know
one's name and
you
she
know
gives
what
you
I
the
meant.
side eye.
You know what I meant, Tammy. I mean, Jasmine. Sorry.
I had to keep digging that
She
hole.
just shaking her head.
What do
y'all
you
have?
Come on.
What do y'all have?
A round of
You want some food there?
Red Dragon Crush
Hot
for
face, yeah.
me and my friends here.
And she says, Red Dragon Crush, that'll be 2 gold.
You got it.
And
Not
you
bad.
guys are brought out flagons with Red Dragon.
I'm gonna slip her 5 gold and be like, I knew it was Jasmine. I'm sorry. That was just a joke to impress my friends.
And very slowly she takes the gold, touches it just at her collarbone, and lets it waggle as she slides it down her shirt, winks at you, and walks off.
Be like, are we back? We good?
Hey, you!
And then he like bumps the jukebox. Right? Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are all seated.
All right, so-
in there, you're in along a rectangular table. The steps that you took down into this, it's kind of half buried initial level. So there's kind of a musty scent, very slight, that's in there, but there's different sconces along the walls, so it's decently well illuminated. You get from the road, there's kind of these half moon shaped little portholes that you can see out of that have grates in them, and you're seeing people kind of come in between the light of those as they're walking around. The inn has a collection of individuals in there, or not the inn, but the fucking pub. You see 2 tabaxi that are sitting in the corner. One kind of has the markings roughly of a cheetah. The other one looks almost like a white tiger, but they have much more feline, like less tiger where it's like a shorter nose, it's a little bit longer out.
They're
as
Khajiit.
Tabaxi have. Yeah, exactly.
Khajiit, not thief.
They are kind of sitting in a corner, kind of talking.
Have any or all of us ever seen this species before?
Yeah, you would have seen in Waterdeep. They're typically seen as like gypsies, where
Yeah. Got it. It's the
They're-
same culture.
yeah.
as-
Exactly the same.
Moon sugar.
But we've seen them. They have camps outside of town. They're tradespeople. Got it.
And so they're kind of sitting in a corner, talking to each other. You look across and you see a albino-looking dwarf with really long white beard, receding hairline, very pale skin, almost like what you'd see with the Duragar, but he has pupils in his eyes. And has a blue tattoo, one of a large circle that's filled in with 2 dots on either side. The mustache of the beard comes out and curls up slightly. And he is kind of sitting back, and you see him reading some kind of a tome. It's written in Dwarven, and it's looks to be a fairly thick tome. Also, in there you see another dwarf who is sitting by himself, staring into the hearth. From where you guys are standing, you can clearly see that he's missing his left arm and has a very gnarly scar. He's got blonde-colored beard. Underneath, like where the soul patch would be coming down, it's braided and comes to with like a leathery bow down at the bottom. He has a very gnarly scar, very deep, that comes from the back of his head and then scrapes across one eye. And you see him just kind of drinking his mead, staring into the fire. And then sitting by herself along the actual like bar is a Chultan woman. She's got a headband on that's kind of a orangish color with some yellows in it. Braids in her hair with feathers coming off of the braids. A collection of several necklaces all stacked up on each other. And she seems to be in a pretty spirited, jovial conversation with the bartender.
I'm gonna lean back in the corner and get my lid out and kick my leg up. And then you hear me playing. You know a bulge in my pants?
Is that the name of the song?
Just while we're like
I think that's the
giving
album.
some ambiance, but I'm
Bulge.
really making enough noise that nobody can hear us.
Okay, are you having anything projecting out of your instrument?
Yeah, I've got an epic lute.
Oh yeah. There's an
Has
amplifier built into it.
It has,
No,
it has
it
some like
makes-
mystical,
It makes
like
figures,
notes come
yeah.
out of the
So it
air.
makes
and, like,
illusions.
dance
It's like
around
minor
and shit.
illusion
Yeah.
within 5 feet of you.
Of whatever
Basically,
he's
dragons
thinking
coming
about
out of my
singing
crotch
about.
area and
Okay.
flying out of my way.
You see Hugh Hackett, or the one-armed dwarf, very coldly regard
Does
as
he
he
look at
sees
me?
the dragon coming up. And you see him give you a pretty nasty eye, and he kind of turns his head.
I'll give him a.
Okay. Roll just a general performance check.
Bronson leans in and goes, "Somebody ought to lend him a hand." And he's
That's all it took. Yes.
10 gold if you go over
18.
gold lefty.
18.
I'm
Okay.
gonna gently
Did you say
whisper
that?
him. Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to pay you.
Are you Matthew McConaughey? I'll change it to a. I'll change it to a different dinosaur.
Okay.
Like a
So we're all
majestic
sitting
dinosaur
down.
shapes.
We take our own table, right?
Yeah,
That's all.
you guys are in your own table, off into the corner. This is kind of a rectangular cellar. Across from you would be like the bar
Right.
with the hearth built
Right.
into the wall. And then there's seating all around. You guys are kind of spread up. As he's leaned back plucking, you see 2 more tabaxi come in with lutes. And the other one has a set of drums on her hip. And they hear him play. And they just kind of turn around and walk out.
Battles
He
of
rolled
Bands.
really well on his performance.
The 2 that were here left.
No. The two were coming in with instruments to try
Got
to
it.
see what they could get. And you guys have seen several minstrels that are tabaxi, either lazily plucking away. Some have spray painted themselves and just stand still. I mean, it's like New Orleans carny folk.
Got it.
So, Pachwa, your name you said was.
Yes, Pachwa. It's nice to make your acquaintance, gentlemen.
Cheers, Yodas. We actually get to.
Cheers, the beer.
Arigato!
And of course, I could not have missed a lady as virtuously endowed as yourself.
Oh,
Pleasure.
it's a sight to behold. So our friend Conga says that you can help us navigate the jungles.
Boy, said something about we're supposed to go and find a shadow snake or a serpent or something like that. My name's Ice Cube.
The shadow snake, eh?
This here's Owen Wilson. Jennifer Lopez. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
I think the saying is that the thing you're looking for it don't want none unless you've got the buns on.
The shadow snake, eh?
The shadow snake don't want none unless you've got the buns.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's what the saying is.
Awful.
Inspiration.
The song I heard was
We'll just trade back and forth. Like,
the shadow snake is sneaky and mean. Spider of my dreams.
whoa.
But that's a tale for a different day.
I feel like that was a deep cut that no one.
That's right.
Well, in any case, I mean, I've never heard of this shadow snake you speak of.
You would have heard of Dendar the Night Serpent.
Oh, the night serpent, of course.
Oh, the night.
Yeah, the night serpent.
What was that, Genji?
The night serpent. Yes, sneaky and mean, spider in my dreams. Of course, the night serpent. We've all heard of the night serpent.
It's
So-
amazing how when you start singing Genji, your accent fades and you sound like the angels.
Yeah, the Beatles.
Yes.
They didn't have an accent when they
You guys, whenever you were kind of talking, he says, there's titles known as the Eater of the World, the Mother of the Night Parade, Nidhogg, and the Night Serpent.
And the slam hog as well.
So many names. But
No, I made that last one up.
That's the
Sorry,
one you try to
guys.
hide from your friends.
Yeah.
have you spent time in the
Or
jungles
do
yet?
you?
Well, I have spent a little bit of time in the
That's
jungle.
different friends.
I'm not trying to brag here, guys, but you see this armor? Nobody wants a roundhouse kick to the face when I'm wearing these.
You see?
But this armor, let me tell you a little story. And I'm gonna kind of get in a little closer and be like, all right. So there's a red dragon down at the Peak of Flames named Tinder.
I like reach over his back and pull out the big map.
And I'm
lay it
gonna
out on
be
the
like,
table.
thank you, yes, of course. So I'm gonna sort of circle on their map and be like, so in this region, there's the red dragon, and I'm gonna get super analytical and start to explain things in way too much detail again. In this region here, you know, there's a couple peaks, and they start at about 3,500 feet, and then they get up to about 10,000. And so, in some of that range, once you get above the tree line, I was out there exploring not too long ago. As I am one to do, you know, there's plenty of treasures to be recovered from this jungle because nobody goes into it. There's all kinds of lost cities out there just waiting to be plundered. In any case, so I come up over this rise in the Peak of Flames, and all of a sudden, this red dragon, Tinder is his name, as it so happens, appears. And we go at it for a while, for a long while actually. And really, I think I kind of got the drop on him. I don't think that I was meant to escape there with my life, but I did, and I also was able to recover quite a few scales that I happened to knock off him. Must have been an off day.
So he was the dragon Tinder. He was swiping right and swiping left.
He definitely should have swiped left, but I fucked him up, let's just say.
We were all thinking.
As I'm one to
Super
do.
like that armor.
So in any case, just totally bizarre circumstances.
Roll a stealth check to see how quietly you're telling the story. And I'm taking into account what you're doing is cover.
Yeah, 10.
I'll ask you if you've heard the lost city of Oru.
Omu? Yeah.
Oru.
Lost City of Omu, yeah.
So as you guys you're talking about this,
Or a Lumgun.
you see that the blonde one-armed dwarf starts walking over
Those are the ruins, right? I'm talking about the lost city.
and comes and lingers over and says, "You're meaning to tell me that you stood toe to toe with that red bastard and you came back alive and untouched?"
Where is this guy standing in relationship to our circle at the tower rectangle?
So like he's across from
He's
him,
looking across at me.
looking over the rest of you guys. Like if this is how the table's set up, he'd be standing here.
Got it. All right.
I'm gonna
Over his
stand
shoulder
up.
Goes, oh snap!
I'm gonna quietly set my beer down, stand up, walk around right up to this guy, and I'm gonna brandish one of the scales up right in front of his face and be like, "You tell me."
I've stood atop every mountain peak in all of Chult. I know every gorge, every crevice, every plateau and trail. My memory is an iron trap. I forget nothing. And I don't know about you and any tangle with that cursed serpent that took my arm, took my party, took my entire crew. And you were by yourself against this dragon when it took near 20 of us down.
Sounds like sour grapes to me, friendo. And I'm gonna be like, "Sarah, get my buddy around here." And I'm gonna wink at her as I say it.
Alright, roll a charisma check. You're either trying to intimidate or you're trying to persuade him to calm down.
I'm trying to intimidate him and get the fuck away from me because
Okay.
I don't like this guy.
Roll it.
He's a little skeptical.
We came for a beer. We burned down the tavern.
That is a 20.
That is
4.
about speed though.
Okay. I'll take that drink.
I don't believe I caught your name.
It's apparently pizza delivery
Oh.
is here. No.
Well, Peter.
My name is Hugh Hackenstone.
Hugh. Well,
It's a great name.
I meant no disrespect, Hugh, and I'm real sorry about your crew. I'm sorry about your arm. But I did face down Tinder, and I did get these scales from him. And I'll be goddamn if some weirdo albino freak dwarf is gonna tell me I didn't. But this wasn't. He's not.
And the albino dwarf at the other end turns around. Oh, what do you want in albino dwarves? No, your domino laid, domino played. So he comes over.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh man.
And says,
Right. Can you hear the
are you
the
trying to
schools
tell me
screaming
that you
sentences
hate
through
the
that?
dwarven kind
Now
whenever
we've
you
got
have
keyboards.
probably the finest specimen of dwarf I've ever seen without a beard?
I'm like, yeah, she's got a killer rack, but no, I don't hate dwarves. I just don't appreciate being called a liar.
Well, if you take a look over here at Hugh, Hugh was there with a crew of 20 plus. And whenever he got done tangling, staring it down, you see the marks in the way that they marred his body. Who are you to be able to say that, oh, a single human was able to get in and out? And then you disparage all dwarven kind. Lass, do you have honey in your ears?
This is my friend here. His name is Pocket Kaepernick. He can do anything he says.
Well, can't do anything I'd
Well,
say, but
I'll stand up as
You know.
well and stand next to him and be like, this man just survived one of the most dangerous races you've ever seen. Like, are you questioning his mettle?
I'm just wondering back why you guys are always bringing the races into this. You've been disrespectful to dwarves and here right in front of the lass like this.
These are my friends. They saved my life. I don't know you. You seem like a good dwarf, but I'll choose my friends over the race any day of the week. So why don't you scurry about and let us have our conversation?
And they both, he puts his arm over the one-armed one. They go walking off. And you
I'm gonna
see
do
them
like
both.
3 rounds each. 3 more rounds apiece for my.
And they go
friends
and they
over
go
there.
sit together at their table in the tavern.
So
It happens, huh?
Like, were you lads just real mean to them and then buy them a lot of beer?
it's the best way to start
Hey.
a fight. You're mean to someone, you get them drunk, and then they remember that you were mean to them, and then they fight you.
Bronson leans in and goes, "Are you lads cheating again?"
100 gold.
400 beers for those dwarves.
Indulge me!
I'm gonna
Oh no, John.
come back around the table and sit down and be like, I apologize, gentlemen. That was an unfortunate episode. So where were we?
You were telling us we're looking for the sea serpent, the night serpent.
Yes, the night serpent, of course. Well,
And apparently, Wakanga says that you can help us now.
I can tell you,
Jungles.
I don't know where to find the night serpent, but I can certainly take you to the area where it is purported to
The
exist.
heart of darkness.
The heart of darkness, yes. So you
But
guys
there was
do
a
know
knight
where
that
you're
went
going.
there once, a Val Kimar. He was hunting lions, I heard.
That was the ghost.
Indeed.
That was the ghost in the darkness. Shit!
Of
Heart of Darkness is the book that
By Joseph
Apocalypse Now
Now.
was named after.
Yeah.
That's why I made the Marlon Brando reference and the Apocalypse
it's-
references and all the
Oh,
references
that's
that
the-
were accurate.
Understood Valkyries. I got it earlier.
It's it's the
Val Kilmer, though.
Val Kilmer.
That's pretty good.
It's just
Charlie Murphy one.
I bet you $20 fucking that his next character is Val Kilmer.
We've already
Val
played with a Val Kilmer.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
I made that elf a few campaigns ago.
yeah.
So you can show us the way?
He was like the saint, sort of.
Your memory has quite the sheen on it.
Yeah. Hey you.
Hmm.
Hey you.
Love
So I
doing
can show
Wall
you the
Street.
way. Suffice to say, gentlemen, I think you've come to the right place. If Wakanda vouches for you, I'm happy to take you where you need to go.
What sort of preparations do we need to make?
Well, I can take care of that, but how long are we talking about going out there for? Are we just trying to make contact with this thing? What are you trying to accomplish in the jungle?
And like Braun puts his finger down in the middle of the not filled out area and goes, "Best we can tell is we're supposed to go and find out more about who or what is using some insidious fucking ancient magic god-like power to sicken people around the globe.
Okay, we need to find the lost city of
Do I know what he's talking about there?
You know
Is it
that people
gibberish or like?
have been getting sick.
Oh, okay.
We're on a quest.
Indeed.
There's a lot of folks like we said, you know, the old adventurers and stuff that, you know, still sit and drink, you know, the salty guys that'll go fish during the day. They're clearly retired adventurers. A solid third of them probably just overnight seem to be wasting away. This would be 3 days ago whenever you first started noticing it.
So you're talking about the wasting.
Can I trust?
So well,
Do I feel like I can trust him?
Make an
yeah.
insight check.
Hot face.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Plus 5. 25.
Yeah, so you believe,
We trust Wakanga.
like, well, you trust him that he could take you where he went. You don't think that he is a guide. You don't have to drink that for 20.
Oh, just you maybe do it earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to watch you get a hot face.
All right, so with that
So you,
information,
you think that, like, you know that there are actual, like, Sherpas
yeah.
that are guides because of the postings that you had seen. You think he could take you to places that he's been before. You see that he's very able,
Yeah,
but not a guide per se.
understood. So it appears that those that have been resurrected are coming down with the wasting, you say.
Yeah.
And we have a friend who says that there's a creature that somewhere near, or perhaps something to do with the lost city of Omu.
Yeah, so I'll lean in and be like, we have it on authority of an elder silver dragon who's dying or sick from whatever insidious shit's been going on. That the origin of said sickness or withering would be in the heart of darkness. That's why we're trying to go and find out more. In all reality, this lot's not cut out to stop whatever they're up to, but we need to know more if we want to help her.
Well, I can say that I've heard of this heart of darkness of which you speak. I have not seen it with my own eyes, but I know how to get you there. And it doesn't sound like this is the work of Tinder either.
No.
I would say. And in fact, I'm willing to stake my life on the line to go and parlay with him and see if he may be able to offer some guidance as well. We have a history, you might say.
Yo, you're wearing his ass on your chest.
No, speaking, yes.
I would call that history, yeah.
Yeah, qualified.
And
What time of day is it at this point? We wasted away most of the day.
yeah, no, you're
Afternoon.
sitting 3:30 right now.
Okay.
So you see the primary bartender.
Sarah?
No.
Yasmin.
She was a waitress.
She's a
Yeah,
waitress. The
Yasmin.
primary
She's running the
bartender.
place right now, yeah.
Primary bartender, the Thundering Lizard, steps forward, and he comes up. You know him, Gareth Nightglaive.
Whoa.
He
Sounds
is
fucking
a
dope.
really, really legit looking, very capable, but old as shit. So think of like
fucking
old,
vampire.
like old Marines
Like,
that
Hamish's
just are
dad
complete. Like who's?
like Hamish's dad from Braveheart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like fucking salty
Yeah,
bastard. But
badass.
think of like leathered skin because he's
It's the old bear from the wall in Game of Thrones, right? Like
Yeah.
the Lord Command, the first Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commander Mormont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.O.R. Borma, right?
Well, no, because I thought so Jorah. So yeah, he is J.O.R.
Yeah.
So like him in that role, think of that walking up to you, but he's wearing some silks and stuff like that instead of like adventuring gear. Because clearly he's
Fucking ripped old man comes over wearing like a purple blouse.
It's like
Oi! Jesus blouse.
and he comes over and he says, Patra,
Yes, sir.
heard you won you a race this morning. Congratulations, boy.
It was a bit of a shit show, sir. If I'm honest.
Aren't they always?
Well, we do aim to put on a show.
Understood. 2 crimson showers were given. If you catch my meaning,
I
those.
mean, that's a low. That's a low tally for me. I'll admit. It was not my best day, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah, fair enough. We had a few that came back from the race, and they said you handled it well. Although you, sir, not
Oh,
seen
yeah.
a Goliath down in these parts before. Well met. Gareth's my name.
Pleasure to meet
And he
your
puts his
acquaintance,
hand out, and instead of them doing this, they do the strength and honor. And you hear a very loud, audible pop as very taut flesh slaps together.
And I lean around to Genji and go, a lot of great handshakes happening. A lot of really great handshakes been happening.
Very notable
And-
handshakes.
Just describing handshakes all day.
Gareth and
Ramshackle Productions, describing handshakes since 2018.
well, and other things that have been shooken as well. So Gareth looks over at you and says, Master Coach Channick,
And me?
yeah,
Oh.
Mushari, and Hugh, you guys you sent quite a lot of beer over at him. What do you get those guys riled up for?
It was not my intention actually. I think you might have overheard me talking about a little encounter I had down in the Peak of Flames a month or so back. I meant no disrespect. He didn't seem to believe my story, so I told him to shut the fuck up.
2
Nothing
years
to it.
ago
Nothing
was
to it.
whenever Hugh was taking a group of gully dwarves out trying to find some type of a forge, ancestral forge from some of the volcanoes down there, and that's whenever Tinder fell on him. So be tender in your
Hey,
treatment of him.
I see what you did there. Look, I bought him some beers. Like I said, I meant no disrespect. He came up to me though. I mean, I've got no skin in this game. I just, I'm
I've got
telling the
skin
story
on
to
my
friends.
chest.
I got skin on my left arm.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Sorry, that was uncalled for. But in any case, please let him know I literally was just recounting a story. I meant no disrespect.
well, if you guys have a mind to go after Tinder, I know he'd want to come with you to take that dragon down out of the sky.
You can always, as they say, it was always the one-armed man.
Yeah. Well, I won't
Just so
expect any.
shit on you, John.
Harrison Ford.
I guess it's better for him to.
They were both in there.
I guess it's better for him to aid and abet than to applaud from the sidelines.
I'll change it.
That's all done.
You're making jokes about not having an arm?
Sorry, again, uncalled for it. But hey, what did I say before?
I find his demeanor a little bit disarming myself.
And no D&D was ever played.
Handshakes and
Pungents
arm
and
jokes.
dragons. Pungents and handshakes.
That's great. God damn it.
Pun jokes and handshakes.
Hey, look, if he wants to come, he can fund himself, and that's fine if he wants to tag along. But I'm not gonna hold his hand.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I'm tired of...
Oh, you better give him one for that.
I'm not rewarding this behavior of destroying the narrative.
It was a slow burn, so it didn't hit.
We're bad
Sorry.
at this.
All right, I'm back.
I just don't. Right now, we're not really looking to take on a dragon. We have a different objective in mind.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna ask this dragon about.
Yeah. I
Where
have
we
no
should be
plans to.
Ask means stab where you come from.
No, ask means
Okay,
not
Lost
fight.
translation. Yeah.
I have no intention to fight this dragon again. I barely escaped my life.
How y'all planning on making your way into the interior?
In sweaty fashion, it would seem.
That's the only fashion we got down here.
Well,
And Bronson
what was
looks
the
up
route
and
that I
down.
took?
Oi.
What was the route
See,
that I
man.
took last time? Would I be able to?
Yeah, you would have
Relay that to
taken
me.
a boat out
Down
and
to
around,
Or all the way to the south coast?
all the
and
way
then
to the south coast,
Oh,
and
is there a
then
town down there?
there's a gap.
Come up from the south.
Right here? Here?
Yeah, I'll mark it.
There's,
Okay.
that looks like it might be a town.
I was gonna say, I
That
either,
doesn't seem much closer. Oh, it
I
does
would think
actually
I would go there or there, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Valley of Lost Honor.
So, if we're trying to head just north of the peaks, what would be the most expeditious route? I don't know how much time Zura has.
Yeah, so you guys, you would have overnighted here in Shoku, in
Okay.
Shoku Bay, and then gone up and over through here, the Valley of Lost Honor, and cut over.
What is
That's,
do
that
we
sounds
know
like
what
a
that?
place maybe you know. Yeah.
What's up?
Do we know what that Ataz Ikwazi is?
No,
Is that a thing? No.
you don't know what that is. You see that it's marked, but
I didn't encounter that on my last.
Oi, lads, there might be treasure there. I've seen X's on maps before. Tell you what.
tell you what.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we make plans to head there. That's my intention.
Well-
Getting you back to where I went.
Should we just be burning for food?
I'd hate to I'd hate to lose you guys at all. So make sure you're properly provisioned and make sure that you have proper guide services secured. And if you go in near any of the camps where the Flaming Fist holds sway, you want to make sure that you got a signed charter for exploration, doing it all legal right.
So, three things then. Can you help us understand what needs to be provisioned? Can you show us where these guides are? And how does one get a charter?
Well, you're gonna have to go find an agent on the latter. You'll have to find you agent of the Flaming Fist. You could go down to Camp Vengeance. I know that there's an individual here that is wanting an escort. He usually comes in here for dinner. Undilru Silver Tusk. He's a member of the Order of the Gauntlet and has some dispatches that he's wanting to take down to Camp Vengeance.
Nice.
Silver Tusk?
Yes. Undrill.
Yep.
UNDRIL
Nice.
Silver Tusk. He comes in here nightly and is looking to make his way down there. You can take him down and speak with Commander Niles Breakbone once you're down there. And Niles.
While he's talking, Bronson goes, "Oh, damn, this lord has a lot of great names." It's so good.
And he says, he'll get you all your paperwork if you're wanting to do this all legal and proper. If you're wanting to go on your own, may cost a little bit more to secure the proper guides, but them two Tabaxi, they guide. Them two dwarves, you're up pissed off. Probably some of the better dwarves for guides we've got. Iku, and he points over to the Cholton woman at the bar.
You're done.
Yeah. They're at the side yard
Oh,
working out
picking up
with the
food.
window open. It sounds
Oh,
like
there's
they're-
dudes out there working on the power box.
And we're gonna go ahead and take a break there while I go and feed my dogs and then my wife.
Alright.
So we are back after food break.
Alright, thanks guys. Be back soon.
I'll go beat my
You,
dogs and my wife.